stopped and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Okay, let's do this real quick. What's up, guys? Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to episode 212. I usually do podcast. What up, Redhead? Say something to good.
What's up? I don't know if it's my end, but you sound like robotic.
Is that right? I sound better? Hold on. Yeah, I know what that was about.
Definitely a way better off guy. I swear this is like a like always annual tradition of RGT.
It's now.
Your mic is good. Your mic is good now.
Okay.
It feels like every.
No, you know what's wild about it? So when I when I had my other headphones on, I switched to it, and then I was hearing this weird little noise. I'm like, wait, are they hearing this in the damn waiting room? And I didn't notice nobody comment. I was like, I wonder if they hear this in the thing. So I hit reset on the thing to see if that was gonna, make sure that didn't happen, and then, boom, lo and behold, it happens.
Yeah, I'm like, it's honestly a tradition every episode. Like this man says, extraordinaire producer. There's always a problem with every.
Hey, this only happens when I take extensive breaks.
Perfect solution. I don't know, bro. Even with the extensive breaks, bro, it's honestly like that definitely feels like it always happens every episode. Dude, the viewers could tell me you're wrong. They could just be like, Red Hood, you're wrong. It feels like every episode there's something up with the audio.
All right, make sure we good. Everybody, we good in the chat. We good. Let me know in the chat. Let me know before we get on with the show. You said I sound good, but does the chat hear me well? That's the question. Matter of fact, I should hear this. Lobo said you're wrong. How you feel about that, Lobo? I mean, how you feel about that, Reddit? Lobo says you're wrong.
The man likes to troll. Don't ever take anything what he says seriously.
You said you sound better. Okay, cool. Awesome. Make sure we sound good. Speaking of good, got another podcast member pulling up. What's up, Hunter? I know he's setting up everything. But man, what a week.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, right, take your time.
Sorry, I'm getting set up.
Oh, you good?
It's all good. Just give me a minute, man.
He's cheery. This week has been pretty interesting. I will say that. Let's go ahead and go to the chat before we get into this these topics and everything. I want to start at the top here. What up, Kubini? He's talking about the CNA. Oh, we'll get into that in a second. Blade, what up? He says, hey, Big, got a question. What sort of PC you got, and what's your RTX? I'm rocking a an RTX 3070 in my build. What am I rocking? 8700K, 32 gigs. I think that's what I got in here. 32.
RAM.
Yeah, 32 gigs. And ironically, I'm gonna upgrade anyway. But really, the main thing that has to get upgraded is my CPU. I think my CPU is pretty much showing its age. It's still a great CPU, but I wouldn't recommend an 8700K now with games pushing what they're doing now. I recommend something a little higher. You know, if you can, I mean, go with AMD if you want to try something a little bit more extensive with more legroom.
I would say the 3D models of AMD CPUs.
Definitely go there if you want to try something a little bit more legroom. What's up, Cynthia? Talos, what's up? Ivan. Oh, we're going to get to that in a second. Knight, what up, brother? Jacob. We got Donald, what up? We got Locum. Good to see you, brother. Sean. And we got Iman in the chat. We got... Who else? Is that everybody? Ice Queen Gaming. Coke Classic Age, what's up? King Mo, what up, brother? All right, so this is episode 221. I'm here with the crew. What's up, Hunter? What's up, Red Hood? Let's go ahead and do our intros. Hunter, so you just jumped in. What's up, brother?
Yeah, man. It's been a good week. I am on my 4th playthrough of Resident Evil 4 Remake. So I've got, I think, last I checked, it was 82 of the challenges done. I think there's like 101 or something like that. I'm missing like just under 20 challenges left in the game, but now I've got all the hard stuff left. I got the infinite rocket launcher unlocked, and I'm just missing 2 of the weapons. But yeah, now for my 4th run, I'm trying to do a no healing, no talking to the merchant, and under 8 hours, which should be pretty easy. But yeah, no talking to the merchant, no healing. I was thinking, I don't know, I just started this run, and I was originally thinking that I should add in the only use the knife and the handgun challenge, trying to do all 3 in one. But I was like, I don't know, man, like because if I use the handgun, I'll probably have to heal a little bit more versus the infinite rocket launcher, where it's like literally like Salazar takes 1 shot and he's dead. Every other boss takes one hit, they're dead. So yeah, I don't know. I might do the handgun and knife challenge next. But man, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to platinum this game, because like you gotta get S+ on hardcore difficulty, and I think that's like 5 hours.
Yeah, but 5 hours. No, like 3 saves. Very similar to Resident Evil 2 remake. I think you only get like 3 save spots, something like that.
Yeah, no. Apparently, well, this from what I read, this one is totally different. So number of saves doesn't matter apparently.
Oh, okay.
It's literally just your time. So I'm not sure if this was in the original. You guys can let me know if you guys remember this, but you can't, like, so you have to get an S+ rating in hardcore to unlock this, but you can't do it in New Game Plus. You have to start a fresh game. So that means you're gonna have crap weapons. You're gonna have nothing. Nothing's gonna be unlocked. Like no, and the thing is, you gotta do it within 5 hours too. Like if you could do it in 8 or 10 hours, then you could hunt down the treasures. You could cash it in for money. You could upgrade your weapons. So I'm not really too sure what I'm gonna do, because because you have to play the hardest difficulty with like basically unupgraded weapons. So that one I think is going to be a tough challenge. I heard that you could I don't have the typewriter unlocked yet, but I heard that the perk for typewriter is unlimited ammo. So I think the strategy is to try to get that perk unlocked as quick as you can.
Yeah.
So I believe that weapon you can access from your stash. So yeah, so basically just focus on that weapon and try to get that upgrade as fast as you possibly can, and that way hopefully the castle and the island you can have the upgrade and have unlimited ammo, and yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, man, no, a game is like beyond fun.
All
I
right.
hardly ever play games twice or three times. Like I'm probably gonna play this game like 5 or 6 times.
Everyone's like doing right. It's like from reviewers and all that. They're like playing it like multiple times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I saw some. I don't know how. Like, I saw some reviewers when they posted the review. They're like, "Oh, I beat the game like 5 times or 6 times." I'm like, "What?" Like
yeah,
reviews came out a week ago.
Yeah, no, they changed everything so fast. But I guess because they just found the rhythm of how the maps work and where everybody is. Took mental notes and we're able just to get through it super fast, which it's very possible. The game is just really, really well done. We'll get to that in a second. Red Hood, what's up, brother? What's up to our people?
Yo, what's up, guys? Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic week so far. We got some things to talk about. Some like very interesting, crazy news, and then some like all right news, and like it's like everywhere. Like all the topics are like ranging from controversial / fanboyish to like talking about Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. And so we in here, obviously, Resident Evil launched yesterday. Hunter, he had the privilege of having it early before everybody, a few other reviewers. I'm only at like chapter 2, almost 3 in the game from last night. Really, really good. I'm digging the vibe. I like what they've done here. It's no longer that campy feeling. It's more of that dark, dreadful, or that dark type of dread type of feel when you get into this, which is really, really good. Really dig that. I do like the a lot of people might not like this, but like the whole you have to maintain the durability of your knife in this. A lot of people might not like that, but I think that's actually a nice welcome change to the game because it makes you think strategically about the combat, especially when you go against Krauser. That's going to make a big thing when you go against Krauser. So I do like that new attention here. Everything is great, though. The cutscenes are great. The performance is pretty good. No issues whatsoever. And I'm enjoying the hell out of it, man. And, I just dropped my Hogwarts review not too long ago, a couple days ago, and that was well received. So appreciate everybody who checked that out. That was pretty cool. He said, "Do you shoot the water yet?" I'm not there yet. I'm not at that part yet. But I know you're.
I did.
Oh, what happened? Why don't even tell me. Don't even tell me.
I like Gian just said something. I was like, "Yo, let me try this out real quick." That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Don't shoot the water. Okay, I got you. We'll definitely see what's up with that. But let's get into this news, man. It was a pretty interesting week. It's funny, Hunter, we talked about embargoes, one of these shows. I forgot which episode was it. What was it, like 200? Maybe we talked about them, but that whole big issue going around with content creators and embargoes. So we had an official leak that dropped this week. And this wasn't like just a leak where it's just showing off like a launch window. No, we're talking about full-blown plans for this game. And this is arguably Sony's biggest game for 2023, and that is Spider-Man 2. Venom himself, the voice actor, Tony Todd, went on Twitter. He was answering some questions for fans. Now, granted, shout out to Tony Todd. He's always open to share information. He does this all the time. Fans are so eager to ask him stuff. He'll always be quick to reply. Shout out to him for that. But he gave a little too much info in one particular tweet, and this went viral. Pretty much everybody covered it. All the outlets covered it. And what it felt like, less than 2 hours later, he had to delete the tweet and do a video response towards it. He said he was drunk. People say he was drunk.
He said he was underwater.
Yeah.
Like him and like.
No, he was under he covered his face with water.
Yeah.
So
his from like his nose down, covering his mouth so he can't talk.
Yeah.
But that was cool. He basically gave us a full-blown launch window for Venom. I mean, we all kind of thought September would be the month, but he pretty much confirmed that, yes, the marketing campaign starts in September. We're going to get a big marketing campaign with the game.
August.
Or I'm sorry, August.
Yeah.
And the game's launching in September. And we're going to have a big marketing campaign. So odds are this is going to be pretty much a carbon copy of what we've seen with Spider-Man 2018. You know, the custom bus, the custom train, and all that stuff. But more than likely, it's going to be black themed, like symbiote themed. They'll probably have something like that happening with it. Also, another thing Sony's been doing really, really well at, if you guys remember that live action trailer that we got where it was showing like all the characters in real time in the real world, maybe they'll do something like that for Venom and Spider-Man 2, and that's going to be a big push for the game as well. So I'm wondering what else is going to happen. And there is a few things taken into account. And yeah, that is a good point, Sean. I was going to bring that up. Usually when a voice actor, or in this case, you know, any actor who's working on a game, they usually sign an order where they're quiet. So do you guys think this was strategically done in some particular way? No?
I don't think
You don't think so? Because this is a lot of information he dropped.
No,
and
like, think about it, Big Cloud. Like, we see a lot of these Hollywood actors that are in the video game space, like Norman Reedus, for instance, that casually drops, hey, you know, Death Stranding 2, yeah, I'm working on it. And he's not supposed to say it. And people think that, you know, like, Sony's going to do something to him. Like, no. Like, these people, like, in Hollywood are kind of like,
could you like tweet it out like some kind of like a meme of him like baseballing?
Yeah, Norman. But like at the end of the day, they're not going to do anything to the actors. Like VAs, it's a bit more stricter, it seems like, though, to be fair. Where compared to like people in the Hollywood industry, it's not as much.
Yeah, I was just surprised, personally, how like it happened, because I was thinking, okay, are they gonna is Sony gonna follow up with this? But it's like, nope, he just took it back. It was like, yeah, no more leaks for today, and then he kept it going. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if we're gonna get the showcase any sooner at this point. It kind of makes you wonder, are they gonna push things back now that things kind of got leaked a bit? Like the month.
No.
You don't think so? You don't think they will push it back?
I think we're gonna get a showcase before August. I know that for that's absolutely gonna happen. I think the showcase is not coming out in August. Some people are like, oh, that means showcase in August, and they're gonna show the demo off there or the trailer. I was like, no, they're gonna do that like May or June around that time frame.
They want that. This is like the biggest potentially Sony game ever. Like it's gonna cross 10 million at launch easily, I think, and it's going to be 20 million, 25. Like this probably will be the biggest Sony game ever, and they're going to want like 2 months of pre-orders and like $300 collector's editions. Like, yeah, this is the money maker for them. They're going to definitely do it a few months beforehand, I think.
Can y'all picture black PS5?
Well, no, I think they're gonna do the plates. I think the plates. That's about it.
Yeah, I know. Tom Henderson, Insider Gaming, was he just made a tweet like just saying, like, coincidence, like Spider-Man's gonna drop in September. That's the exact same month that I'm saying the new PlayStation 5 model is gonna have the external Slim, disk drive. Yeah, the disk, not the Slim. It's the same as the existing. It's just gonna have the external. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe the Slim was coming this year as well. I don't know. I can't remember. But at least the one that's going to have the external disk drive. And so he's like, like, coincidence. So yeah, they're probably going to have some kind of like, faceplate branding.
I would assume the Slim either comes out around that same time frame or a little bit like earlier. And then they're going to have a bundle for it too. Like,
yeah.
They're smart. Yeah, I would go for it.
Just like God of War. Like that bundle of God of War. Like they're absolutely going to have a bundle for Spider-Man too.
Yeah, because all they did for God of War Ragnarok was a controller.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all they did for it.
I think it's going to be the same thing. Maybe a controller, but then faceplates are going to be sold separately for Spider-Man 2.
I would hope so, yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I'm just like surprised that we haven't had any like any kind of showcase or something, because like I remember I was just like thinking back to what Sony's been saying, like Herman Hulst and Jim Ryan and all that the last like few months. And I remember, I think it was like last summer or something that Jim Ryan mentioned that they were going to have 3 live service games out in their last fiscal year. So that would have been like the end of I think actually March. I think it's March is the end of. But anyways, like they were supposed to launch 3 live service games. That I think MLB was not one of them. Apparently, I think it was supposed to be other ones. So, so they all got delayed. Like all 3 of them got delayed, whatever they were. But I don't know. It's to me, it's like I was also just reading like I think DF, not DF. What's the name of it? The one, it's my mind. One of the analyst firms. I'll tweet it out later because I saved it. But one of the analyst firms like was just having a look at the top like 200 upcoming games that are going to be coming out, and they actually said that like according to the research, Xbox is gonna have more platform exclusives in the next in the next 200 games that they're researching versus PlayStation, which is shocking because that's like never been the case. But yeah, I'm just so surprised at how thin their lineup is. Like, are they banking the whole year on one game, Spider-Man?
It kind of feel like it, right? Because they've been too quiet. There's no
like
updates.
MLB came out, but Whip DE because that comes out every year, and then PC, like they got their PC strategy going on. So you got The Last of Us Part 1, I think is coming out next week. But yeah, man, this is like. It's like shockingly thin. Like where like Stellar Blade was supposed to come out this year.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
I forgot about that. No one mentions it. Yeah, but Stellar Blade is supposed to come out along with 16 and Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They got third parties which can fill it in, fill in the gaps, but it's just like it's just shockingly thin. They like because I know I just tweeted like the other day that Metacritic, like had their top publisher of the year awards came out, and Sony topped the list, which they've done many years before, so cool to them. But that was based on 15 games, and of the 15, 10 of them were original or like basically 10 of the there was I think it was like 5 PC launches.
Yeah,
there was like 10 games that they had released. 15 were on Metacritic. 5 of them, I think, would have been on PC. But still, like they released like 10 games last year.
Yeah.
Versus 2, I guess, MLB and Spider-Man this year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like they're so focused on the CMA than it is the what's happening right in front of them, and we're kind of seeing that low key now.
Well, the thing is, like, remember Jeff Grubbs' thing though? Like he said, it has nothing to do with Activision Blizzard. It's just
he said
their teams literally had nothing to show.
Yeah.
To be fair, like we can't go like even I did this and I gotta stop. Like I feel like Jeff Grubbs, track record's actually pretty good. Like so far, like. I mean, he's had some misses, but most of them are hits in terms of, like the predictions and all that. State of play, like that, the low-key state of play, right? Which wasn't good, but he said, it's going to be later in February. That happened. And him I guess Silent Hill was,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was going to say, like, I guess Silent Hill, like, according to the latest news, is like almost done, or basically done, is what they said. They're just kind of in the polishing phase, but they said it was up to the the rights holders to figure out when that's going to launch, which I assume is Sony and obviously Konami.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll come out this year too. Like maybe the fall. So I don't know, man. It's good that they got the third party going, but man.
But I feel like it's a double-edged sword, right? Because if they did talk and they showed off games, right, and those games weren't up to snuff, nor were there a lot of games being shown, then people would, say, Sony, what are you doing? PlayStation, what are you actually doing? So isn't it better to have a meaty PlayStation showcase this year than a mediocre one last year?
I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. PSVR showcase was good. It definitely, if you weren't really a believer of VR, they sold you on that. But everybody wanted the more big, heavy releases. They wanted more updates on those. Like, we got information from different sources that pretty much confirmed that Jade Raymond's game is in full production now. It's now in full production.
But that'll be like 3 years.
Yeah, we're not getting information on that.
well, I mean, it just exited pre-production and went into production, so that's like 2 years of production and then 1 year of QA and polish and yeah.
So
I kind of like. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about their current strategy versus their old strategy that they had in like the PS2 era, where they had sort of like a mix of like cartoony games and like quicker to produce games along with the bigger games like God of War and stuff like that. And I don't know. The thing is, like, before all this like Activision things happening, like I was fully like cool with Sony's strategy of just focusing on these big games and like letting the third parties like fill in the more like creative, interesting type games to like fill in that lineup. But now that Activision's like basically going to go through, and I'm just like kind of thinking they're not doing what they should be. That what I mean? Like, I think how they had like Medieval remake.
Yep.
That was during the last like bits of the late in the year. Like they should have like a game like that every 6 months. Like give outsource like a classic game. Like Dragoon is the one that everyone wants. Like just outsource that to someone. Outsource another title that can get a modern. Like there's more medieval games. Like get more of those like updated and refreshed. And the other thing too is like I think they're totally doing the wrong strategy with Blue Point Games because I'm happy. I'm super excited because they obviously want to work on a new game and like I never want to like take away from a studio's happiness and all that. But like they were like one of the fastest, most efficient studios. Like wasn't it? I think it was like 2 years between Shadow of the Colossus and I think Shadow of the Colossus was 2018 and then and then Demon's Souls was 2020. Like they were pumping out a game like every 2 years, right? Like we could have had like a Eco like remade last year, right? Like they could have already if it's the 2 year cadence, they could have had a game last year and they could have had another game next year.
Yep.
And we're probably like maybe not even going to get their game next year. Like I don't know, it's just weird. They need to like, especially with like RE4 remake, you know what I mean? Like I know I tweeted like the top 10 games on Metacritic this year, like the top 6 are remasters and remakes.
Yep.
Only the bottom 4 are actually new games like Hi-Fi and Hogwarts and all that. So
yeah, everybody's quick to jump on this remake bandwagon. Don't get me wrong. I'm with it if it makes sense, right? Like Code Veronica, that makes sense. Resident Evil 4, that made sense. Resident Evil 2.
Man is really trying to will it into existence, bro. Code Veronica ain't happening, Big Cloud.
I'm just saying, I'm with those type of
RE5 is gonna be the next one.
I'm just saying, I'm with those type of games that had that long of a gap versus games that we had last gen getting remade. I'm with that all together. Like I don't want to see Horizon Zero Dawn get a remake.
Oh no, yeah, great. No one's asking for
I don't
that
well, especially
remake.
the
it's even
PS3
worse than The
games,
Last
right?
of Us.
Yeah.
Like why don't the I think like almost their entire almost like what Nintendo's been doing with bringing all their Wii U games to Nintendo Switch. Like I think like the fact that we haven't had a Resistance trilogy remastered is like criminal.
Yeah.
Like what the heck are they thinking?
It seems like they're trying to do the PS4 games, right? Because like that's exactly what they're targeting. And I don't think they'll go like I want them to. Dude, I would love Jack and Daxter to go on like remaster or whatnot or remake into either PS5 and PC, and that would be dope. But I don't expect that to happen because it's like I came to kind of like grips with that, and it's like that's not what they're doing. It's just all the PS4 stuff like are going to be going to PS5 and PC.
Yeah, Sly Cooper recently got shut down. The reports for that, like that got shut down by the studio that they were not.
Oh yeah, Sucker Punch is never going back to those games. Like
yeah.
Just like, I would love Infamous 1 and 2. That's the most request for me coming for the PS3 generation is Infamous 1 and 2. Those games are amazing, and being stuck on the PS3 is a crime.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
sure.
like Metal Gear, Metal Gear 4
agreed.
Should be there. Like there's so many, man. Like it's just Yeah, it's kind of because I think like I'm hoping Sony realizes this. They probably have by now, but like they have to change their strategy. They have to be like Nintendo and like what Microsoft is now going to be doing when it comes to Activision, which is you live or die off your first party. Like you can't rely on third parties anymore. It's the Square Enix is like one of the biggest partners of Sony. But who knows, man? Like the way things are going, I could if anyone's going to buy Square Enix, it's probably I think would be Sony. Mainly just because of
they have a huge history. Like people don't realize they had a lot of shares of the company. Before their the
that was a
PS3
bad decision to sell
fiasco,
the
right?
shares.
Because they were so like to the point of almost bankruptcy that they had to sell their shares.
They bailed them out.
Just like damn, and you know what's wild too, because we just celebrated 8 years of this game, Bloodborne. Whereas it would have been a perfect time to have Bloodborne be remade.
Dude, I think my thing is like PlayStation. I think knows. There's no way they wouldn't know
that Bloodborne's anniversary. Was
no. I wasn't even saying like putting their games on PS5. Hell, like I guarantee you, which is going to be terrible if they do. If they did a simple remaster and charged $60, $50, everyone would buy that instantaneously with 60 FPS and 1440p
with Elden Ring hype.
Yeah, and the same thing with PC. Like if they put that game also on PC, you know the amount of sales will go through the roof for them on PS5 and PC. Like it would be like insane. Like people, like if you see like these Twitch streamers reacting to the state of plays, they're like, "Where's Bloodborne? Where's Bloodborne? Where's the Bloodborne announcement? Where's the PC Bloodborne announcement? PS5 Bloodborne announcement?" It's like everyone's been asking for it, and I think they know there has to be something kind of like wrong in terms of porting the game. Like I don't know if it's a coding issue that some people are suggesting, or they have to fully remake the game. I don't know.
I mean, they're giving them all these resources to make these other games. I would think. I don't think that's an issue. I just think it's just maybe Sony's looking at the sales. Maybe they're looking for like a straight one-off like 5+ million off right out the bat type of sell, which I personally believe it would do with Bloodborne. I mean, it's
no, the PlayStation knows. That's why I'm saying, Big Club. They know it would sell a lot because of Elden Ring. They know Demon's Souls remake will sell a lot on PC, like all these games, right? There's no reason for them not to do so because I feel like they said their plans are putting a lot of their PS4 games also onto PC and PS5 and make better resolutions and frame rate. There has to be just something wrong with the game inherently, like spaghetti code in the game or something.
They went through a lot of hurdles to get it to work on PS4. Just like this is probably why we never saw a performance boost for the game on PS5. You know what I mean? Like we never saw no performance enhancements of any kind for the game. So not even for the Pro, right? PS4 Pro didn't even give you no performance boost.
There were modders or something like that tried to like increase the frame rate, but then it was very wonky or something.
Yeah, so I don't know. They probably have to deconstruct the game altogether.
Basically a remake, essentially.
Yeah,
at that point.
I mean, put it on the same engine. I forgot which engine it was they reused for Demon's Souls. Do y'all remember what engine they used? I put it on that engine.
I don't know, something Blue Point was using.
Yeah, I would take that.
Proprietary.
Yeah,
I think, I think I know we've talked so many times about how we're just totally sick of all these acquisition discussions and we just want it to end, but like I think the thing we all have to recognize is like, I'm sure we all know this is that because I mean the funny thing is that people have already been tweeting and like making videos about like, oh, the Activision deal is close. Like these like armchair analysts are just so like annoy the hell out of me because like it hasn't, like, nothing's passed. If you actually look at what the CMA said, they said that they basically don't have as many concerns about the console side of the business, but on the cloud side, nothing's changed. So will it go through? Like, yeah, probably, of course. Like, I think very high chances it's going to go through. But like, people already like proclaiming it's done. I'm just like, no, it's not, man. Like you're blatantly lying to people by saying it's a done deal and it's closed. But the other thing is like, the floodgate is like it already was open, but now it's way.
Oh, dude,
open,
you're not gonna
right?
hear the
I
end of
mentioned
this
that.
until
I mentioned that.
Like way.
Yeah.
Like,
I told Big
Sony
Cloud
will
it's going to
pull
be
the
a
trigger.
consolidation
Yeah.
era. We're going to be in
yeah.
the generation of consolidation, and I suspect, honestly, we'll probably get a couple publisher buyouts. I believe Tencent absolutely is going to buy a publisher or
will
two.
probably buy a
Embracer, I wouldn't be shocked.
Sony's going to
PlayStation-
take Square Enix. Yeah.
PlayStation's going to do either Square
I seen a lot of weird comments though in
maybe
regards to this.
Capcom, but I doubt it. I doubt Capcom.
I saw a lot of weird.
would be huge for them.
Yep.
But like I tell people, just
Actually,
like
Square or Capcom would be huge, I think.
yeah, and I'm just like, for me, it's like I don't want none of this, like at all. Like everyone's like celebrating, and it's just like, and people like, oh, you would be celebrating if PlayStation bought Square? Absolutely not. Why would I want to celebrate that?
Yeah,
it's like we're gonna have more, like less and less publishers, and they're gonna be divvied to the
will of one.
Oh yeah,
one
it's gonna
company.
it's gonna be crazy.
Embracer, PlayStation, and like all these is just that's it.
There's just gonna be losers everywhere, man. Like all like there's gonna be L's given out all across the industry. Like if Square Enix gets acquired, it's not really going to impact Xbox all that much because they like Square Enix just doesn't support them. Like they often like most of their games miss their platform. They've now like years later like finally brought things like Kingdom Hearts to Xbox, which has been on PlayStation from day one. But the biggest L for that is going to be Nintendo. Like Square really supports Nintendo. They've always
their smaller titles like Triangle Strategy, Octopath Traveler, Bravely Default, Dragon Quest.
JRPGs are going to be like we're going to have to rely on like Axis and like NIS America, and that's it.
And then people got to realize too, like PlayStation probably would want less of those games being made too, if we're being honest, right?
Probably,
the Triangle Strategies and
they probably don't make a whole lot of money, for sure.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna be like, why make those games where we could just focus on Kingdom Hearts,
right,
Final Fantasy, and Dragon Quest? That's it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, the biggest advantage I think Sony has in this race now to acquire is the fact that they are based in Japan. That is like people have to realize how big that is, because it's not impossible, but it's way harder for an international company to go into Japan and bought like some of the smaller companies have got bought. I think like SNK got bought a few years ago. Some of those small ones like they can go under the radar. The bigger ones, it again, it's not going to be impossible, but it's way harder than buying like a European or a North American company. Sony will have like no problem. Like the Japanese government will be like, they're going to have some questions, but not nearly as many, and they won't have to go through the stringent things that international companies would have to go through in order to meet it, right? Japanese, like, not only do they have like business restrictions, but they're like just from like a cultural perspective too. Like it's like the fact that if they buy Capcom or they buy Square Enix, they've got the same business customs as like as themselves, right?
Yeah.
If they get acquired by a North American company, like everything has to change, and a lot of the like buildings that they own in Japan, like there's a lot of like tape there, right? Especially for Square, right? Something like their cafes and the manga, anime. Well, that's another
different.
huge part too. Yeah, Konami has the massive pachinko. Sega, I guess, would probably be a little bit easier because
they downsized, they got rid of their.
They divested.
Arcades.
Yeah, I think Sega's still big in what is it like vacationing or something like that. They've got like I don't know, like hotels or something like that. But but they had the arcade business, and they got mostly, I think they got completely out of that. Last time I was in Tokyo, that it was like, it was all different companies that took over their arcade business. But yeah, that's another big point too. Like they've got lots of other all these companies have like their own cafes and restaurants and stores, and some of them have like Sega has its own indoor theme park that's in Odaiba, which is just like the southern part of Tokyo. Like it's a theme park. Like if whoever buys Sega has to buy the theme park too, right? So certainly a lot different than the North American companies that mainly just focus on games.
I saw some weird takes come out of this. Like it was on Twitter, like dude saying, "Yo, Sony should buy Rockstar," because they got $5 billion to
Rockstar,
spend.
they would have to
they
buy
have to go Tencent.
Take-Two.
Take-Two, yeah, Take-Two.
So that just would never happen. Sony does not have the capital for an acquisition like that. And like I said, the only probable ones would be Square, which I think it's the smallest out of. I think Capcom is bigger. Bigger than Square.
Capcom is bigger, I believe now, but
but Square would probably be the easiest one for PlayStation to do so.
And a lot of things people need to understand too. When these acquisitions usually happen, they usually buy them for less, unless they got the crazy like money to burn type of thing. But usually they buy them for the less they can, and that way they ain't gotta overdo it. So Sony's not gonna go over a budget of $5 billion to go and try and get Rockstar.
Yeah.
It's just not
or like people aren't really talking about too much, but like From is another one, right?
Yeah, From Software is another one. Even though they joined a capital alliance, they own what 14% next to Tencent together.
Yeah, I think Tencent and them bought 30% of it.
Yeah,
when they invested in From, are they technically investing in From, or are they investing in Katakawa?
That's
what I never asked.
From. They've actually invested in both. They had, I think it was like 2% or something, like some small amount of Katakawa they invested in, but the other one was From. But all they have to do is they actually don't have to own 100% of From. All they need to do is own 51%, right? So if Sony buys like another 35% of From.
Because how much is Tencent? 15, I think, right?
It's 15. Yeah,
I think they have more than PlayStation.
16 for Tencent and like 14 for PlayStation. But yeah, all they gotta do is like buy 35% more of From, and then they have a controlling share of From. And when you got a controlling share, you can direct them. You can say from now on, okay, sorry, your games are PS5 and PC. And
I would assume when they invest in From, they're asking like, hey, Katakawa, can you sell us your shares within From, right? That they're buying it from them, correct or no? I'm not a business armchair. That's what I'm asking.
I would assume so. I think Katakawa is doing what Square Enix said that they were going to do, which is they haven't actually done it yet. But remember, Square said that they are willing to entertain selling a portion of their actual development studios.
Okay.
Which is, I think, what Sony could end up doing too. They might not necessarily have to buy Square. They can buy like the 2 or 3 most productive studios. They can buy the studio that's making Final Fantasy 16 or like 51%.
CPU 3.
They can buy a controlling share of that.
Yep. You said would Sony Sony could get a loan from Japanese banks?
They could, but
but
they still got to fulfill their spending for the remaining cash that they have for acquisitions. So
something like $5 billion or something, I believe, somewhere in there. They have like $5 billion that they like have to spend, but they have to spend it by the end of their next fiscal, which is going to be March 2024. So that's across Sony, like. Bear in mind, so it's not like if you look at their acquisitions, they've acquired a lot more than just for PlayStation. So Sony Music or Sony Picture Entertainment can also tap into that $5 billion. But I think pretty much like you gotta expect, given that Sony like PlayStation is the #1 revenue generator now for Sony, you got to expect that of that $5 million, they probably want to allocate as much as they can to Sony,
to that business.
Knowing that's probably like their other businesses are not like their music business is not at risk. Like Sony already has like a massive, like I don't know if you would say monopoly, but they got like a big,
lot of ties
like,
into music.
No,
Yeah.
have you like guys seen like even
their catalog
they're from software? What was it? Bloodborne soundtrack. That's all SIE.
Yep.
Or not SIE. The Sony music.
Well, that's why even Kojima with Death Stranding like totally tapped into to Sony, for the soundtrack. If you look at like most of the artists that were on Death Stranding, they're all artists that were signed to to Sony Music.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just wild. Like, really.
Nintendo is like in this like weird spot too. When you think, because out of all the platform holders that are going to make a move.
Oh, like, Nintendo doesn't care. Like it feels like I said, they're gonna be in the sideline, just be like eating popcorn. Don't
just
really
watching
care.
all the
but that's good. But think about how crazy that's gonna be though, because like you still buy a lot of third-party games on Switch. At least they have versions that are out.
Yep.
But yeah, like I think literally it's in 10 years it's going to be a case where it's like indie games, of course, will always be on Switch, and first party, and that's it. Like,
I mean, technically,
Activision games will be on.
They have the IP though to go sit back, because like look at Animal Crossing, right? That does number. I mean, all the Pokemon games that does number. Like Pokemon, they don't really care at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
Even with
sure.
Square,
like,
I don't think if
70,
Square gets bought, they don't care. I feel like like truly they don't.
Yeah, it's like a ridiculous amount. I think it is 70% plus. I think maybe even 80% plus of Nintendo's software revenue annually is their own.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like versus I have to look at what the number is.
I mean,
for
it's
Sony,
been what, 3 generations since
10-20%, right, for them.
But it's been like 3 generations they cut out the middleman, which is the third-party developers. They don't make their hardware tuned for them. It's for their first party period. Like even
Resident
the Wii
Evil's
U,
on the cloud.
Yeah, the Wii U, the damn Wii. The Wii did extremely well with just damn Wii Sports. Didn't even need no third-party support. I mean, so
I just think Nintendo fans are really like they're the ones that are going to get hit the hardest because most Nintendo fans will I'm sure all of them buy it for Nintendo games, but I do know, like, I mean, I have a Switch and I've got a bunch of third-party games on there, but I like just my friends that play on Nintendo, they tend to buy a bunch of third-party games too, but Nintendo is not gonna go buy Bandai Namco. Like, Nintendo's not gonna go buy Sega. Like, they could, right? I'm not gonna say never, but like they probably just don't care.
Yeah,
like,
they don't need it.
They don't need them. Versus Sony, that's like Sony's in a war now.
Yeah.
And they're winning the war as of right now, but they're still in a war, and the balance of power is shifting somewhat to their enemy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a crazy decade. I think it's gonna be terrible, man. Like I think I hate to be the old guy, get off my lawn, dude. But like, PS2 and PS3, like I think that's it, man. That's like the golden era, the golden age. Maybe even up to PS4. But
I'd say PS4 was another good golden year for sure. But
it's just gonna be like social media is gonna just be talking about acquisitions left and right. Not even the games when they come out themselves, which is gonna suck. Like them actually being good games, because like, dude, RE4 came out, and my whole timeline, guess what? Wasn't even about RE4.
It was about acquisition. Yeah, it was about CMA.
And I was like, bro, a game, literally a really good game came out, and we're talking about this.
And shout out to Nick. He kept his lips shut on that project for so long. For those you know what I'm talking about Nick. I forget to pronounce his last name, but it's Nick. He plays Leon. He's doing like something big on April. I think it's April 2nd or April 4th. He's going to have like the cast and crew on his Twitch channel, and they're going to be answering Q&A. So that's cool. Shout out to Nick. He's been very, very...
Oh, he's so far doing he's underrated, I think.
Very underrated.
BA. Because like I just like played a little bit of RE2 again, just to see like his acting chops, and then compare it to RE4. Very different voices. Like it's still the same like Leon voice,
but he has like
you
that
can
mature.
tell like it's a rookie in RE2 and a person that's seen a lot of stuff, seasoned, and like more like gruffy, more of a gruff type of voice for Leon.
Yeah.
So like that's like really dope, and like so far he's like killing it that I've played since up to chapter 4.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see what the fans have to say about it. I mean, again, the game's already great, but it's gonna be cool to see that unfold, the Q&A. But back to this, I put out a tweet about it earlier today. I'm like, dude, I thought the deal wasn't going through. There's so much stuff. Like, a lot of this stock has disappeared. There's a good chance, man. It's like beforehand, what was 30, 70? That it might not go as
it was going back and forth.
Then
right?
it was 50-50.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of
tipping into first it was going to go through, right? It
was
going to go through. Like, everyone was thinking that. Then you saw the Golden Sachs, then the CMA and EU. Then everyone's like, okay, it may not go through. And then back to it's probably going through.
Now it's probably going to go through.
Yeah, now I'm 70% sure this is more likely going to pass. And here's the thing. A lot of people are kind of acting like, okay, so what does Sony got to do? I mean, Sony needs to do what we all been saying on this panel for a long time. And we literally just got into it a couple of minutes ago in terms of classic IPs. We need to see SOCOM return. You need to have heavier emphasis on your multiplayer. You need Resistance. You need these games to come back. Hell, I guarantee you MAG in 2024, 2025 would be better than what you guys got on the PS3. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think they're building all these new multiplayer IPs, right? Yeah. I think that to a degree is a mistake. I think that I'm sure the games will end up being great, but why not tap into the cash that you already got, right? Why I've always said this, and I'll always believe it. Sony's had some of the best multiplayer games that I've ever played. They just never had that live service mindset with any of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought MotorStorm was awesome. Thought Wipeout was fantastic. I thought Resistance was good.
Yep.
I thought Killzone was good. I thought SOCOM was good. MAG, I don't know. I didn't play much of MAG, but what is it? Warhawk,
yep.
Right? They just had great games, man. I remember playing Warhawk, for months and months and months, and then it's nothing else comes out for it, right? It's just kind of they just do one and done multiplayer, and that's all that was their strategy back then, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, man. Imagine Resistance 4, they're with the full Insomniac creativity behind Resistance 4, with taking the learnings that they have from Bungie and putting that into their multiplayer. They could have a huge success.
Yeah,
it'll be look at Call of Duty Zombies, right? That is one of the biggest fan favorite modes, and Insomniac they could own that space, right? We're the new cross between Left 4 Dead and Call of Duty Zombies, right?
Exactly.
So,
again, this is why, and again, a lot of people didn't really like Shadowfall. A lot of people didn't like Killzone as much, but Killzone now, I actually do believe, I actually have bigger confidence that it will be better and much more of a game that you will put more hours in with this version of Guerrilla Games that we got now. I do think they could deliver something 5 times better than what you guys have seen prior. Easily.
Yeah.
You want me to be devil's advocate here? If we're gonna be honest, why a lot of these online multiplayer games aren't hitting as well as because of also battle passes, but if we're being honest, a lot of these games require battle passes, right? Think about it, Destiny, Apex, Fortnite, and other games, right? But those are the ones that come to mind. Now think about it, that these games require, and Destiny, these games require time, a lot of hours putting into it, and you have to be something really good to take away a player's time in those other games, that player is dedicating their time to, because that's all they play. So it's hard to take those people away into a different multiplayer game, because it's all these games are trying to do that, and it's just they're not successfully doing that at all. So it's it's kind of ripping that regard, because like I said, factions, if that's something that they're trying to do, is already starting at an uphill battle, and it's they're gonna have to work all the way up. And I don't know whether or not PlayStation can really do so. in that regard, because like I remember like people say like I think Xbox made the quote like, oh, PlayStation has 10 years, right?
Yeah.
In terms of to create a alternative for Call of Duty or a competitor, and like you can even be devil's advocate. It's like, but also Microsoft could have done that too with Halo, right? If that was kind of their competitor and it fell flat with Infinite and all that. It's like a lot of angles you could look at and just target. It's just like it's gonna be very interesting, like what those multiplayer games are and whether or not they'll succeed. I think majority of them, even if not all of them, may fail.
I mean, that's why I'm like not like I'm kind of worried about Sony's output for the next 5 years, because what do they say, like 25 games, I think half of them are gonna be live services, right? It literally to me feels like a let's throw everything against the wall and we'll see one or two that actually stick. Right, if you're making 12 live services game, like you already know out of the gate 9 out of the 12 are going to fail. Right. I don't know. I have almost no faith in live service games these days, because like no matter, because I mean, this is how I feel. I think a lot of people feel the same, is that like it doesn't even matter how good the games are now. It actually literally does not matter how good your game is, because there's so many other amazing live services games and games that have already like dug their claw. Like look at was it Multiverses, right? Like what, like that, like I played that game and I thought that game was so fun, and then it's like literally dead. You
have to be consistent with your updates too, because if you're not consistent,
it dies.
The player is just like, all right, see ya, and then they'll never go back.
Yeah, and that's where, like, I mean, Call of Duty had like this weird. I don't know if y'all seen that new trailer for it. It was like you get the Shredder.
Yeah.
The new DLC, like you get Shredder and you get like a new weapon. I mean, again, some people might be going like, yeah, it's cool. For me, I'm like, no, not anymore.
Well, you know who the number one company I actually think that Sony should buy is Genshin Impact developer MiHoYo.
They make a lot of money.
Like MiHoYo, I think is the name of the company, right?
Like I
that.
So.
Like Genshin Impact is like one of those like rare games that I played when it first came out, and I was pretty impressed with it. I thought gameplay was fun, graphics were good. But it's a gacha type game that doesn't really doesn't stick with me. But like you still see they're making like billions of dollars on that game, and it's got a huge, it's an ongoing, persistently huge community. And then I think they just announced that their next title, what's the name of that one coming out? It's what is it? Honkai? I think Honkai Star Rail. Just got announced that game is also going to be PC, mobile, and PlayStation. It's not coming to Nintendo or Xbox. So like MiHoYo seems like they are just, when it comes to consoles and platforms, that like PlayStation is their one, and that's, I don't know if they got some kind of like exclusive deal with them. But probably not the most exciting developer to most folks, but like in terms of who knows how to build a huge community and keep them engaged, like that, they're one of the best in the world for sure.
What was about the no, you said Bungie in the chat. I mean, yeah, they own Bungie, but Bungie's operating independently.
No, I think he started talking about revenue source for them.
Oh,
they're already getting that revenue source, so it's like, I mean, I guess they're new IPs, but we'll see if those IPs from Bungie hit, right? But because I believe they're also multiplayer too.
You got to wonder too. I doubt it's going to happen. I bet you there's conversations that are happening, but it probably won't go through. But like, you almost have to imagine that, like, Jim Ryan called up the CEO of Bungie and was like, hey, when we bought you, we said that you're going to be, developing for all platforms and essentially being neutral, but like you're part of Sony, and we're losing our number one franchise, Call of Duty, and the only studio that we have that can create something as big as a Call of Duty is you. Like for a live services title, like
yeah,
I mean, like again, I don't think it's going to go through, and I'm not starting anything with this, but like you have to imagine that those conversations are happening, and maybe even Sony is saying like, okay, you know, I get that you want to multi-platform develop, but like maybe of the 3 games you're going to make, maybe we'll make one of them exclusive to us. Like,
yeah,
the other 2 sure, you can do it wherever you want, but yeah, like it's kind of like they need to have these conversations at this point.
Oh, dude,
I think their strategy though wouldn't even go like PC and PlayStation, because like they wouldn't want a huge revenue source like Destiny, right? So all their supposed microtransactions and stuff that they'll get via Xbox, via PC and PlayStation, like I would assume that going that route, because if it becomes a huge hit and everyone plays it throughout all those platforms, that makes so much money as a result, you know?
Yeah,
for sure.
Because the only way I could see the exclusive route is just to get more, like selling more PS5s and getting more people into the ecosystem. Because like if they want their own Call of Duty, they would want to make that thing, you know, multi-platform.
Yeah. The other studio that or publisher obviously that Sony can easily afford is Ubisoft, but that is like that's like such a mess.
Dude, they would have to invest more money into restructuring that.
Yeah.
You know, the you know, Ubisoft as a whole, and that's just too much baggage.
It would be like immediately shut down half the studios that they own.
Yep.
Like day one, because they like Ubisoft has like like I remember one time I saw their list of studios and I could not believe it. It was like 25, 30 studios or something. It was just this endless list of like, I haven't even heard of half these studios.
That's why it feels like their games are made in like a factory line.
It is.
And
it is.
so
That's why
it's
all
like-
Assassin's Creed games feel exactly the same and pretty much are exactly the same as previous. They go, okay, they like this feature, okay? We'll do all of this new stuff that we promised. Like, I remember how Assassin's Creed 3 was supposed to have like that little canoe that you could swim around in. They cut that from the original game. Or you can be able to run into like the battle on the front line when you fight against the Confederates.
Oh yeah, Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah. Like, come on, like all that stuff that you wanted were cut, and you just get like the bare minimum for what it is. And then this like they try to push stuff with like the crowd. Like they tried that so much with Unity, I think, and it just destroyed the frame rate. You know what I'm talking about? Where it has so many characters on screen.
Oh, with all they have a bunch of NPCs.
Yeah,
like, it
it's
looks like
walking
I won't
around.
lie, it was impressive on paper, but like they had so many bugs in that game.
Yeah.
I will say their parkour system in Unity, honestly, is probably the best
Probably
in
better,
the
yeah.
Assassin's Creed game.
I
of
agree.
all.
It was fluid. I did like the new parkour elements.
And then they just like after Unity, that parkour system was not
Gone.
implemented ever again.
You got the
I was
same
like,
blocky
bro,
one.
you would think that you would get a really good feature that you had in that game and put it throughout the rest of the games, and they did not do so. So
add like an upgraded version of that to like what was it, Origins? Boom, would have been fine, you know, or something like that. But again, this is Yeast Gilmont at the end of the day. I mean, you still got games that still haven't dropped. You have games that probably never see the light of day. Like it's 2023 and we're still talking about that game. What was that game? That
There's
was
two
shown.
games.
Skull and Bones.
Not
Skull and Bones
not
is
Skull and
one,
Bones, but the other
and
one.
then there's Beyond Good and Evil.
There you
Beyond
go.
Good and
That-
Evil.
that's the other one.
Those two.
You'll never
But,
see Beyond Good and Evil 2.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's.
You have a higher chance of seeing Project Abandon come out before you see that game drop, and those games are not dropping. So much for those. And as far as like the games they have, like didn't they say Splinter Cell was something like that was they were working on?
I don't know if they're supposed to be making a new one or a remake.
They're remaking Splinter Cell in my hometown. It's Ubisoft Toronto that's making it. That's actually probably I guess we haven't even seen the game yet, but that's my most anticipated Ubisoft game by a long shot.
Just remember also that they were remaking Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, right? And they were about to release that, and then people were like, "What is that?" And then they had to be like, "Yeah,
Well,
let's delay this for a while."
Yeah, I assume that Splinter Cell is going to be a different story because Ubisoft Toronto is one of their flagship studios. Right, a lot of a good chunk of the Far Cry games that have come out in recent years has been them. Like, they're a pretty consistently good studio versus I don't know what, I forget what studio was managing Prince of Persia, but I think they didn't have as like a track record like Ubisoft Toronto has. So we'll see. I feel like that game, at least it got announced a while ago. I'm surprised we haven't really seen much about that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like.
Aside from Ubisoft, never should get bought. Like, that's why, like, that's the rumors going.
Yeah, I don't think
like, they're shopping to everybody, and everyone's like, hell no, get out of the building.
Dude, not even Watch Dogs, in my honest opinion, has the appeal anymore. Like, the first one was so cool because it was mysterious, and the guy
concept wise, like when we saw the E3, I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, dude, what is happening?
Then we saw the finished product. You're like, huh?
It was severely downgraded.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, man. They have great ideas at times. A lot of stuff sounds ambitious, and then when you see it, it's not even a fraction of what you were seeing were shown prior. So it's hard to get excited for anything Ubisoft related, but that's just me. Honestly, it's hard. Obviously, who knows, man? Who really knows, like, what's gonna happen with them? But I would like to see more out of that studio on a more consistent basis. Like, it's weird. I'm more hyped for that damn game from IO Interactive, that 007 game, than I have been for anything.
Dude, supposedly they're supposed to be making two things, right?
Yeah.
Like, supposedly they said they're not going to be...
The fantasy RPG?
Yeah, I think it's online as well. I could be wrong. I think it's a fantasy online thing, RPG. I could be wrong. But, like, they said, they're not going to be on Hitman for a while, it seems.
Yeah. I think my personal favorite Ubisoft game of the last, maybe 4 or 5 years was Immortals: Phoenix Rising. That was, I don't know if you guys played that. That was actually a good. Well, Mario and Rabbids, I guess, would be up there too. But yeah, like I don't think it got nearly as much buzz as it should have. But like Immortals was a pretty good game.
Yeah, give us. I'm hyped for that James Bond, Joe. Like, I really want a proper James Bond game that'll just bring back that old school vibes, something more dark, gritty, realistic in approach. It would be fantastic. Like, I would love that, and that's why I'm more hyped for that than I am for anything coming out of Ubisoft. There's this, I don't know, like, Assassin's Creed just doesn't really do it for me. Like, you guys know, those in the chat, y'all know, like, I platinumed the entire series. I stopped. I broke my trend. I didn't buy Valhalla. I have no plans on buying that. Just like I have no plans on buying the one in Japan. I just don't care. I want something new out of Ubisoft. It feels like, honestly, in realistic ways, it's become their Call of Duty, their main crutch, and that's the main thing they rely on. And I think that just killed Assassin's Creed in the long run. When Assassin's Creed first came out, it had so much going with it, a lot of mystique. You know what I mean? The story was good. The first civilization, all that stuff. What's happening in the future. Your choices seem to matter, right? And then after they killed Desmond off, the series just lost its soul.
And then they were trying to go with, was it Juno?
Yep.
And then they were like, oh yeah, she's gonna be the villain, like setting it up throughout all the games.
And then never appeared.
And then no, the thing was, they concluded it in a comic book with Desmond's son and everything. All in a comic book, not in the mainline game. That to me was so dumb. I was like, I wish I was in a Ubisoft boardroom meeting
when
they decided that. I was like, dude, how are you gonna like allude to everything and rebuild Juno's body with like all this stuff and the sage and even tease Desmond's son, like. And you do that. That to me was so mind-boggling. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're now to a new main character," and and then from hearing from other people, it's like, "Oh yeah, we're back to a potential apocalypse," and it's just like, I'm just like, dude, what? They got no direction with Assassin's Creed anymore.
They really don't. They really.
It's like on the fly what they want to do with the series. It just reminds me of like Star Wars sequel trilogy vibes to me. They don't got no plans. They don't got no conclusion. They're just
that's a good comparison.
And never gonna stop.
Aside from like a few badass like custom designs for the characters, like like those specific ones set for their time period, you know what I mean? That's like the only thing direction wise they seem to get right. Like the way these different assassins look are pretty badass, and it gets better and better. But I don't know. I just don't care. I just don't care. Like,
and the whole original plan was to have Desmond as the ultimate assassin.
Ultimate assassin, yeah. He was gonna have all their powers.
Happen.
Just killed them off. Damn. Even one of my all-time favorites. I don't know if y'all like Black Flag. I love Black Flag. Black Flag's one of my all-time favorites.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you're not an assassin until literally the end of the
I know. That's why I thought it was so badass, though. I thought it was so badass. Like, he's like, oh wait. What's this dumb thing? He just throws it. Like, what the hell is this thing? He throws the damn hidden blade. He's like, you know what? Let's go get that bounty. I bet you're making a lot of money. Does the leap of faith. I'm like, I love this guy. This guy is already cool. It's something new. And he's like, you threw yours away, but you know what? You've earned this. You are an assassin. He's like, thanks. And he like takes it serious. Like, you know what? That's character development. That's something I care about. I likes that. Syndicate with the brother and sister duo was cool for the concept of having two assassins, one being more of a brawler, one being more of an assassin. But if we're talking about story related, some of the decisions made for those characters, especially the sister, I thought were dumb. I didn't like that. I didn't like how that one was done. And you got to think about how they play in the long-term story. Connor, y'all remember Connor, Assassin's Creed 3? He had no business being in Assassin's Creed 3. It should have been Hayden Kenway. Boom. That would have been a better story. But no, they give you that story, again, with a new character that no one cares about, and somebody completely new with Shane Carmack, is his name or something? Not Shane Carmack.
Oh, you talking about Rogue?
Yeah, Rogue.
I thought some people liked it, actually. I own it on PC. I never played it.
I like the concept of it, and I like what they were doing.
Because he's a Templar.
He's a Templar, right. But why not just give
Assassin
me that?
turned Templar.
Yeah,
very similar to
Kenway. Hayden Kenway, yeah.
Yeah, I hate them.
That's what I'm saying. Why not just give us that with Kenway? Kenway was a better character than Connor, and we kill him off. Oh, Shay Carmack. Yeah, Shay Carmack. So I'm like... I'm just saying, like, the direction's just not there. I go on forever how my displeasure for Assassin's Creed, the recent ones, that is. Anyway, everybody's like excited, man. Microsoft stock is up 5%, $95 per share after this whole news came out. I forgot to tag this on to the whole thing, so we're kind of still on that topic. Yeah, man, it makes sense. Definitely makes sense that
people are gonna invest if they feel like something's gonna go through. So it makes sense to invest in Microsoft because they believe that Microsoft's gonna make a lot of money. So stocks are gonna go up.
Yep. So. Let's get into some spicy topics here, man. Now that we got past the Microsoft part, it's another part of Microsoft, and ironically, it's involving Redfall. Redfall, I said the game looked okay. Like after the last showcase we saw for it, I think it was the indie direct thing they did for it. Little deep dive. It looked straight. It looked good for what it was. Nice little party game. Turns out that game was originally going to be on PS5, apparently, and Phil Spencer said no. I want that to be exclusive. And, of course, this brought a lot of, crazy takes. A lot of people started doing some digging. They're like, wait, I thought you were all about having games everywhere, but you're buying it to be exclusive to Xbox. And it was an ongoing, it's still going on about it. How do you guys feel about Redfall? Did you guys think Redfall would have done anything any different if it was on,
You said it. You said it, and I have to go into that rant because I'm sorry. Both these fanboys to me in this war, it's like, listen, everyone knew that there were going to be PlayStation 5 versions. I feel like you're going to close your eyes and and go like this and like, oh no shot that they have PlayStation 5 versions and they were everyone knew. I'm sorry if Xbox fanboys didn't think that ever happened, bro. It happens. I don't care, like, either way. But what's wild to me is, like, people, like, even PlayStation fanboys, like, going and saying, like, dude, this is crazy. Like, I get it. You want to get Phil Spencer, like, okay. But you're using this game in particular and making it seem like like a gotcha, and then Xbox, like and then the same thing with Xbox fanboys. They're like, hey, so you actually care then? Like, you really do care. Just buy an Xbox for Redfall. What's the funny thing is, like you mentioned, if Redfall came out on PlayStation, it would not have sold well. Deathloop did not sell well. like majority, I don't want to say majority, but a lot of Bethesda games, besides the really big ones like Doom, Wolfenstein, and Elder Scrolls and Fallout, those games sell well. Other than that, those games don't particularly sell well in like a lot of platforms. So it's just wild that both fan bases are talking about this game and treating it like it's gonna be this like really good game, because it's not. It doesn't look that good to me. I'm sorry. It looks very mid to me. And seeing people just debating about this is mind-boggling to me.
You didn't like Deathloop? I thought Deathloop was straight. It's a good game. It just
no, bro. I'm good, bro. The AI looks ass. It looks like really bad, bro.
Yeah.
So like,
I like.
And to me, it's insane because it is fake outrage, and like Cage mentioned it, they're just doing for the like saying, "Aha, I got you" moment. No one really cares overall. Yeah. No one truly cares, and let it be on Xbox, because in reality, you guys don't care, and even Xbox fans don't really care. Like, I don't get why everyone was making such a huge deal about the news. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy that people were doing that, because I even said that in my streams. I was like, why? Why care about a game you guys don't care about?
I
like,
mean,
no,
dude,
it feels that way.
A lot of people forgot about what
like,
even Ghostfire didn't sell well.
Dude,
true.
Like, you have to expect that literally every Bethesda game that is ever going to come out would have came out on PlayStation if they weren't bought. Like, there might have been one or two that might have been PC or PC Xbox exclusive, because they're pretty tight. But you have to assume Starfield obviously was going to come out on PS5, and Elder Scrolls would be planned on PS5, and the next Fallout game, of course, would be on, like, literally every game they make would have come out on PS5. Like, Hi-Fi Rush absolutely was in development for PS5,
yep.
Right? Like, this is Tango. Like, Tango, Japanese studio. Of course, they're going to make a game for the biggest platform that's owned by a Japanese company. Like, like, I mean, there's not. It's the only part that like annoys me is the fact that I think that and this is not fanboyish speaking, this is just straight facts speaking, is that I think Microsoft, and probably Phil Spencer in particular, gives like a lot of mixed messaging out there, right? Like he'll go on and on and on about, we want more players to play all of our games. We want more players and more devices, and like it's just a lie. Like it's just a lie. Like he
I think he does it intentionally though. Like, he's very vague. Case by case basis. What does that really mean? What does a case by case basis really mean? No one, like, you can't really determine that. Yeah. It's like you could just be like, oh yeah, that game can stay on Xbox and PC, not go to PlayStation, or that game could, like, it's very vague. Like, and they're like,
totally. And if anything, if you look at the games that would be coming out on PlayStation and versus the ones that aren't, it seems like the ones that would come out to PlayStation are the ones that are like most self-serving for Microsoft, which is obviously the for the most part, it's just the multiplayer games, right? Like, they're still supporting Fallout 76, and they're like Elder Scrolls Online, and like all of the games, like even Minecraft, right? Like, all of the games where it has the most benefit to Microsoft, because for your online games, the more players you have, the better the game is, right? The better, more money, better success it brings in. But then the games that are going to be offline or single player games, those are the ones where they would bring them in house, right? Which like, the thing is, like, from a business perspective, everything makes absolute sense. Like, if Sony bought Bethesda, you can almost guarantee that they would do the same thing. They would probably, like, a lot of these big games, they would just bring them in-house and make it on PlayStation and PC. So I totally get that. It's just, I just wish the mixed messaging would just end. Like, it just annoys the hell out of me. Every time I hear, like, we want billions of players and more devices and all this. It's like if whether you're an Xbox fan or a Sony fan or you know, you own both platforms and enjoy both equally, like you have to see that there's hypocrisy and lying that's going on, and it's like it's just manipulation too, like that. It just annoys the heck out of me, right? Like just be honest, like just be, because he was saying like, you know, like you know, how they have no intention of taking away games or experiences from PlayStation gamers. Like he's very like, yeah, he's smart. He's really smart, and he I don't think he actually like usually at face value what he's saying makes sense, right? Because like, for example, like when they bought Bethesda, they didn't remove all the Bethesda games from the PlayStation Store, right? So when he's saying, you know, we're not removing games from the PlayStation community, like he's absolutely correct. But like anyone with a brain and, you know, thinks beyond just what, you know, the face value, what he's saying, like obviously like he wants to take experiences away from PlayStation gamers, like very clearly he wants to do that, and he's going ahead and doing that, and he has every right to, and it's what he should be doing as a business. It's just like, it's just be open, like be more transparent about that, like stop this like
these half-baked tweets.
What I've been seeing a lot, and it kind of makes sense, but what I've seen a lot on like Reddit and Twitter, places where it's like people are just calling him like the Mother Teresa of gaming, or like you know, or the Kumbaya of gaming, right? Like
Mother
it's just
Teresa.
No, but it's like it totally just makes sense. Like he's like has all these like really like nice positive messages out there. But at the end of the day, we all know that he's got a business to run, and he's going to make a lot, like, you know, Elder Scrolls will probably not come out on PlayStation. Next Fallout won't come out on PlayStation. So he's not about, you know, opening up games to everybody. Absolutely not. He wants people on the Microsoft ecosystem, Microsoft platform, which again, every business would do that, right? Like nobody should be surprised that he's doing that. It's just, I just wish they would stop with the kumbaya. Like just be honest. Just be honest and be like.
I think that's PR though. Like any company really does. I don't feel like a company will ever be direct with everyone. That's an issue though. That's like, I feel like that's been there for since the dawn of business. Like you're gonna always be like pretending to be peaceful and having vague, you know, statements on top of putting a positive spin.
We believe in generations, Jim Ryan, right?
Yeah. It's like, but in reality, like it is what it is.
Jim just doesn't know what to say, personally. To be honest with you, he's not the best.
No,
PR
he shouldn't.
guy. He's not the best PR
Yeah,
guy.
Herman Hulse is certainly better.
Which I thought.
That's why you see a lot of Herman. That's why you see more.
That's
Herman
what I'm saying.
Talking now.
I thought Herman was going to be that guy when we first got the information for it. I thought he was going to be the guy we see at all the events and everything. And he would be the, you know, basically be what Sean Layton was to PlayStation in a sense. He would do that. But you see more Jim. And Jim's, you know, nothing against the guy, but I just think he's not good at, like, he's not good at relaying a message. He's not. Like, even when he's, like, trying to, like, show off a product, like the PlayStation Plus headset, he looks so weird when he has it on, like he's never wore a headset before. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of cringe about it. But that's just my take on him.
People are in the comments are saying a lot of things about me here.
What was it? PR, what do you expect? No,
totally. It's PR, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly annoyed at the amount of repetition of that. That's. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like Jim Ryan says a lot of dumb things, but he usually says like the dumb things once, and then he'll like say that nobody wants like retro games. You remember when he made the comment about why would you play a PS1? Like he'll say dumb things. He'll say things about like the generations and but he usually stops. What annoys me is just like we've heard this like a million times, like every interview. I want to open up to gaming to everybody, and I don't want to exclude anybody. I want to it's just like 100 times. Like my threshold is like 10. Okay, like You say the PR thing 10 times. Okay, sure, I can deal with it. By the 11th, I'm like, just shut up. Like, we know you're not telling the truth. Just
yeah.
I don't need to hear that anymore. People are saying, why don't you advocate for Sony to allow Game Pass on PS5? Personally, me as a gamer, I would love Game Pass on PS5. I think that'd be awesome. I think Game Pass is great. I sub to Game Pass. I think that you easily get your value with Game Pass, and so like, why not? Like, why like, I can play a Plague Tale, I can play Atomic Heart, I can play everything that they're the Lost Case of Benedict Fox, which I think is a cool game coming out this month. Like, just so many cool games, but like, I don't think Game Pass the way it is right now makes probably very little sense for Sony to put on the PS5, because like, all of these games they can sell on the PlayStation Store at full price. Like Wolong is a good example, right? Wolong, why would they sacrifice the like, they get a 30% cut of every $70 sale?
And so do you think, though, like, if Xbox wants to put Game Pass, that they wouldn't just curate a first party?
That's where I was going. That's exactly
so
where I was going.
Because they'll probably include the third party titles too, which
that's
would
exactly
cut those
totally. So Sony has been resistant about bringing some of these services onto the PlayStation, but I believe now they I don't sub to them, but you guys can let me know. I believe that the EA what is it, EA Play or whatever, that
EA Plus or whatever
that is now on PlayStation. I think the like Ubisoft Plus or whatever is on it. So now I'm pretty sure that PlayStation and Xbox sort of have parity about having these other services on their platforms.
It's just the stubbornness, that competitive nature of both of them. They don't want to do it. Yeah.
EA, though, to be fair, it's not the same as like the PC version where you're able to get it day and day and play it as long as you want. Whereas, like, I think it's vaulted games, right, as well as
that's actually a good point then, because the fact that they have different versions of the services is exactly what I think they should be doing. I think having Game Pass on PlayStation would be amazing, but it would be a modified version that is probably makes the most sense to just be first party and second party games that Xbox comes out with. It doesn't really make sense to put third party. I have to think about that a little bit more, but yeah, it totally makes sense. Like, I hope that they're having those conversations. Totally sucks that we're not going to have Bethesda games on PlayStation, and maybe Activision games will not be, and Blizzard games will not be on PlayStation in the future. But sub to Game Pass, right? And that's you can buy the games on PC or Xbox if you choose. But if you're a PlayStation only gamer, I think it should, maybe not the same price. What Game Pass is, like, what, $15 a month? Maybe $10 a month or whatever. Pared down version. Get Starfield, get Redfall, get Forza. Why not? Like, I'm trying to think of the downside of that. I'm trying to actually think of it, because the games are not going to be sold on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So Sony's not going to get any revenue, and so if they have a modified version of Game Pass on PlayStation, it's only incremental revenue. Like, it's only bonus money. Like, I don't understand what the holdup would be for that. What are you guys saying? What are play devil's advocate? What is
with drawback of PlayStation games
aside from the fact
Xbox?
that you be given your competitor money, but that's a legit thing. But the thing is, Sony already gives Microsoft a lot of money, right? Like, Minecraft is on PlayStation, right? Minecraft Legends is coming to PlayStation. Like, every single Bethesda game that's on PlayStation for the last 2 years all that money is going, like, I think Sony, even on the PlayStation blog, had like, I think they recently had, like, Fallout 76 had like a new expansion. Whenever Elder Scrolls has something new, it's like, Sony tweets it. It's on the PlayStation blog. So the whole, like, giving your competitor money or exposure, to me, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no,
because they're already doing it.
They're already
Minecraft
doing it. Don't know this. Everybody's just too invested into it, like it's a side versus side thing. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to look at it from like the business side where both are thriving. They don't look at it like that. Everybody's like on this energy of like, okay, my side has to have this. Where's yours? I mean, that's what it is. Like, people are on that mindset.
That's what you think when you're 10 years old and you're
See,
like,
that's the thing.
You're out for recess with your friends, and you're like,
that's the thing.
Because I did that when I was, 9 years old. I'd be like, because I remember I would even use the quotes, right? What is it? Sega does what Nintendo don't, right? And then the Nintendo one was like Genesis isn't. It was like I forget what
Genesis isn't.
Genesis isn't the best console out there, right? We'd always say that, right? But that's that's like high school stuff.
But that's social. That's literally social media. And the funny thing is, a lot of these people who do this are adults, and they're that invested in it. They're like, oh, we can't do this.
That's why you're saying like nothing really being talked about video games and RE4. Like I mentioned, RE4 came out.
Nobody's mentioned like much.
No one talked about it. Like, I literally didn't really see anyone talk about it. All I saw was the CMA stuff.
And how beneficial or non-beneficial it is.
Beneficial or non-beneficial.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is RE4? Dude, I just like, I know it came. I played the game, but no one cares. Like, at the end of the day, on Twitter, it's all about arguments. It's all about debates. It's not really about gaming. It is what it is. Yep. I mean... that's the times we live in, man. Like,
I'm telling you,
like honestly, like back then when we were kids and teenagers, of course, was a thing and stuff. Like, oh, I got PlayStation, oh, I got Xbox, oh, I got Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And it just got amplified with the internet, and people grew up, and then people like have their personalities. And I want to like tell people, like, because certain content creators, I'm not gonna say names.
The nut jobs on Twitter don't play BH.
Certain content creators on Twitter that like have allegiance for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Those are personalities, but people actually, like the viewers or whatnot, believe that they believe it, and then they actually partake in the console warring and all that, and the allegiance, and that's their personality. But in reality, all those people you think the Xbox fanboys on Twitter, the PlayStation fanboys on Twitter, this, that, and the third, they do it for clout. They do it for the retweets. Yeah. They do it for the views. Like, people got to realize, I wanted to say that for a while because people will like say this, that, and the third about this person. It's like, oh, this person doesn't actually act like that. It's just to get retweets and likes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Mooch's podcast, right, with Tim Dog, right? Tim Dog.
Yeah, Beast Right, yeah.
Tim Dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, him and I, like 5 years ago, got into like some like Twitter thread where he's like, I mean, in my opinion on Twitter, he's one of the most annoying people on Twitter. He's like an aggressive fanboy,
very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Like, and I hate people that quote retweet everything, and like he does like literally like everything that I can't stand. And like I foolishly, I guess it's my fault, I foolishly got into a conversation with him and like, and we were just like arguing about something stupid, and so like I think he ended up blocking me and I blocked him, and it was like 4 or 5 years of being blocked. I was on Mooch's podcast and talking to Tim Dog, and I could not believe how nice the guy was.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how insightful he was.
Just chill.
I was.
Beast Fire.
He was
always chill.
He was chill. he was like more neutral, more objective. Like he wasn't being an aggressive fanboy on the podcast. He was like, he literally had, nice, intelligent things to say. Like it, I remember the podcast finished, and I just had to sit there for a second. I was like, this is probably a lot of these like aggressive clout chasers on Twitter. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like I literally at some point in the podcast thought to myself, I was like, well, I think if I met Tim Dog in person, like if I was at
have a beer,
PAX or
have a beer with him or something.
I'd have lunch with the dude. I'd go out for dinner and have a beer with the dude. I would, I'd love to jump on Xbox and play a multiplayer game with him on voice chat. Like, I was just so shocked at how different he was. It's completely night and day. It's aggressive, trolling toxicity on Twitter, and then in real life it's just like, he's a nice, chill dude.
Yeah, no, that's true though. But there are some who are absolutely not like that. Like what you see on Twitter is what they do in content. I'm not gonna mention no names, but it was the thing. Like, just look at the thing with Colin Moriarty. Right, I know what I'm talking about. Just look at that whole situation. Like that. That's a prime example. It's like, what are you arguing about again? Like, then Colin's just destroying the guy. Like, it's like, oh Lord.
Well, the stupid thing is like, this is probably the worst thing that I hate about social media is, like, across all social media. It's like this kind of stuff is like what feeds the algorithm, right? Like that. It's the annoyingness, the polarization. I just hate it, man. I hate it like so much. I of course, like PlayStation the most of any platform, and I spend the most amount of time.
Yep.
But I play. I have my Switch over here. I got my Steam Deck over here. I was just playing Xbox, the last couple of days, quite a bit. And it's just like, it just sucks that you can't like, it's almost impossible to go on these platforms and just talk like that, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't be like a neutral gamer on Twitter and like.
Oh, dude, that word is frowned upon. They're like, yo, you're either this side or you're not. It's like. They love doing that. They love to put you in a group. Like, if they can't put you in a PlayStation group or if they can't put you in an Xbox group, they'll go, oh, that person's not PC. A gamer. Yeah, that dude's not a gamer at all. And then when they look at your stats, they look stupid and dumbfounded when you are past them and whatnot. Then they have nothing to say. It's like, that's the weird mentality of it. And that's why I don't get involved in anything as it is. But it's weird. It's weird though that's really what social media is. It's not about. It went from being about the games. Now it's dudes talking about studios, right? Then it went from that to it's about the sales. Who cares about the games? Like we got 3 games. You guys got 20 games that don't sell. Then it's like, okay, it's not about the sell. It's about engagement numbers, right? Then it's about services. Now it's about acquisitions. It's like that's the type of stuff.
I saw like classic example of how dumb social media is like. I haven't seen the whole video yet, but I saw the Dreamcast guy did a video. I think it was about the the CMA and about how like this deal is likely going to go through. And then there's that like extremely aggressive Xbox fanboy. I think his name was like Xbox University or Xbox Uni or
Uni,
what,
yeah.
Yeah, Xbox Uni or whatever. He he took like a 30-second clip of Dreamcast guy talking about this and basically just saying he's like, the deal is going to go through. Sony's going to lose Activision Blizzard games. It's a big loss for Sony, a big win for Xbox. And like he did this like 30-second clip and just said something about like, cry more, like cry more, you PlayStation pony, right? And then Dreamcast guy like quotes retweets him and he was like, I own an Xbox, dude.
He owns their Xbox. Yeah, he owns their platform.
I'm not crying over anything. Like this is the stupid thing that I hate about all this, man. You can't even like. I'll go on Twitter and like just say I'll tweet something like it could be something positive Sony, something negative Xbox or whatever, and people will just like will say things like that. Cry. I'm like. What are you talking about?
But the thing is, Hunter, like I guarantee you, he actually doesn't act like that in real life.
The Xbox
Probably
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's literally just for Twitter. It's just for a show, just for the algorithm, just for the likes of retweets and follows. Truly don't.
Yeah.
Like that. That's like you got to like treat these people.
Yep.
Yeah. They really don't believe it. It's like with the big followings and all that. So.
Yeah, it's just annoying. Like I know I think I mentioned before on the podcast, but like I used to like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago I used to tweet like pretty much like equally about all platforms, and then
you saw the real results.
I wasn't getting any results. Like I had like I think I had like 2,000 followers for like 10 years. Like
yeah.
I literally like 10 years I had like 2,000 followers 10 years, and then it was I guess it was like 4 years ago or something. I just noticed that I was tweeting a little bit more about PlayStation, and like maybe like not a whole lot, still tweeting about everything else, but just a little bit more about PlayStation, just because I played more games on PlayStation. And then I just randomly one day I was looking at my like results, my analytics. I was like, oh, it's weird. Okay, my PlayStation tweets got 20 likes and 5 comments, and my Nintendo post got half that. My Xbox post got half of that, and I was like, okay, I guess my audience responds best to PlayStation. Like, I guess so. And I just experimented for like a month. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have like 90% of my tweets about PlayStation, and like as you guys can see, like it was ridiculous. Yeah. Like suddenly I was getting 100 likes, 50 comments, 200 likes, 300 likes, 400, 500 likes, 700 likes. Like it's just ridiculous. I still tweet about all the other platforms, but it's like I know, and I've known this for years, that it's like like the whole point for me on being on social media is like to build an audience and have a presence. And it's like I can tweet about Xbox and get 20 people liking it, or I can tweet some cool news about a new game that comes out on PS5 next week and I'll get 400 likes, right? So like,
it's even more crazy.
The stupid algorithm, man.
Aside from just like that, like you can apply this to YouTube, and ACO, he in the chat, he can vouch for this. But Ace, you remember those old conversations we had back in the day? It's crazy what subs and views do to people now, like how they are, like their personalities, how they portray themselves, versus how they started. It's rare you find people be consistent to what they be at the start to where they are now. Let's say their channel grew to like 50,000 subscribers and whatnot. I've seen channels that literally got to 10, maybe 11K or whatnot, and they completely just changed. They're like on this other mindset. They're not the same person that they were before, where they were like more, I guess, open.
What do you? Yeah, like, what do you mean?
More open, more willing to have conversation. No, it's like they're in their own little, bubble, right? They're in their own little headspace where they're like, it's almost like they think they're celebrities in a sense, where they're too good to, take your feedback or reply to you type. That's the type of stuff I've seen. It's like, no.
Well, the thing is that I've experienced this, and it sucks. But I think you're probably absolutely right. There's so many people that just get like a big head and just think they're the best, and I'm sure that happens all the time. But I've also noticed too that the bigger your channel gets, the more risky it is to have like as many interactions with folks as you had before, and sure. Like it's like here, like a good example is on my Twitter, I almost never post opinions anymore. I almost always just post news.
Now let me run that back with you. Imagine building your persona saying you don't care about all that stuff. Like you don't care about like endorsement or like partnership type, like you just about, growing the community, I guess you could say, right? And then you completely do a 180 when your channel gets to a certain way.
Yeah, totally.
See, that's weird.
Like people are so weird on these platforms because I even had things like I've had people that when my channel on Twitter grew, then you'd have like weird people looking at who you follow.
Exactly.
Right? And I would have people tweeting at me, "Oh, like you follow this dude, but I don't like this dude," or maybe this dude said something inappropriate, right? But for me, it's like, you know, like I don't like this. Every situation is different, but maybe I followed them after they said the controversial thing, and I didn't know about it, or maybe it was like, you know, 7 years in the past, and I like totally either missed or forgot about it.
People read too much into who people follow, like like there was certain like episode Colin was talking about, and like people look through like I forgot what employee
what you
was
like.
It for no like I forgot her name, but she was working at Cage did a video on it. I forgot her name.
Frusk?
No, like it's like where they make like these physical limited edition runs of video games, and basically she works for that company, and then they like this person saw her follows and basically was like, hey, look at that, like limited run.
Limited runs.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like that same fairy situation kind of happened.
I remember that.
Carolyn.
It's just so annoying. Like it's just beyond annoying. Like I don't want to. There's people that you know that I'm not going to say names on the podcast here, but there's people you know that you know that I follow that have said a couple of things that some people just didn't like, and it's like they try to cancel that person, and then also like anyone who interacts with them, and it's just totally weird because I told you, like, you know, I had 2K followers for 10 years. Back then, like, nobody cared about anything.
Mm-hmm.
I could say whatever I want on Twitter, and it was usually just like my close circle of friends and just people that knew me that were replying. You didn't get randos, like, you know what I mean? So that's like, I guess like the way I think about it is I always have to take like every situation individually. If there's somebody that had like a small channel and suddenly that they have a huge channel, my guess is that sometimes some of their like personality or the way they interact, like some of those changes, some of them at least are probably like learned mechanisms to just cope with the fact that the more audience you get, the more shit you get. But again, there certainly would be people too that are just like, you know, they just generally get a big head and just become like, you know, an a-hole. But I don't know. But some of it might be perception too, because here's the other thing too is like like I said, I hardly ever give opinions because opinions either like they almost never go the way you want. Like you just whatever. And I also noticed too. This is actually like, aside from the fact that every time I put an opinion, I get, you know, a mountain of crap thrown at me. What I've actually noticed, and this is the reason why I stopped giving opinions on Twitter, is because it just doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter because the thing is like, whatever opinion I get, I'm not going to change anybody's opinion. Like people just are people just don't listen. People just it's just noise. People just want to argue. So it never impacts anything. And so like, what's the like, and if there's anyone, if I do actually want to change somebody's opinion, like the people that I would go to for that would be people like, say, like you guys, like guys that I like, that I trust, that I can have a real conversation with. Like people in my inner circle, like those are the folks where it's like, you know, I'll freely give opinions to them because you guys matter.
Nah, it's just it's the weirdest part about it, and they literally they did this with Cassie. They tried to do this with Cassie and with me. They're like, oh, you follow this guy, well, you know, it's either me or them. I'm like, I never had an issue with that person, so why would I unfollow that person for you? Someone I don't know for someone I talk to, or someone I don't talk to. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It's like, dude, I don't do that pick sides thing. I don't like that. And people try that so much in this. They're like, "Oh, you're a real friend. You choose me and this and that." I'm like,
yeah,
I don't remember talking to you. I talked to Hunter, Red Hood, Blaze, everybody, virtually everybody you see on this panel, like on a constant basis, or just throughout throughout the pod, whatever the case may be. I talked to them more than you guys think. Like, we have dedicated servers where we all hang out and chill, we game and everything in nature. You know what I mean? I play games with Hunter. How many dudes play games with Hunter?
Dude, Twitter is like one of the few places on Earth where you can just say that you like something, and you'll get
crucified for it. Like, why do you like
20 comments about you suck. Like,
yeah. Or why do you like that? How can you say you like that when this game is this on this? Like, they even did that with, y'all remember when the Xbox One X came out? And everybody was like, yo, I love Tomb Raider on PS4. They was like, yo, how can you say you love it on PS4 when we got 13 teraflops? You remember that? Do you remember that? How can you say that when we got this amount of teraflops and it looks this much better on Xbox? I'm like, yo, I don't forget stuff like this, but it's like, that's the levels of craziness that people were on back then. And ironically, it just slowly died as the games progressively came out and nobody cared down the road. That is the funniest thing about it. Nobody cared. It was like, so much on it. So,
man.
Chris King said, pick a side, pick green or blue.
and like another reason why I just just post the straight news on Twitter is like, I also realized too that it's like, you go, because I think other people do this too. Like, you'll see like a good example is like Paris. Like, Paris is always tweeting opinions, right? He's always tweeting opinions. Like, good on him. But sometimes they backfire, right? And then you'll see him he'll post 10 replies to people like, oh, I didn't mean it this way, I didn't mean it that way, like on and on and on and on. Like, I've seen the guy, like, he's deleted 2 or 3 tweets in the past where he's like, and then he'll tweet out, oh, this tweet didn't go the way it did, and it didn't go the way I intended. And and like I said, good on them, because we need people to throw out opinions like that. But what I actually realize is, like, because I used to throw out opinions all the time, it's like, sometimes I get sucked into like an hour of just
long conversation of nothing.
Like Twitter scrolling, right? And at some point, like a few years ago, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, these are strangers that I don't give a crap about. These are people I'm never going to talk to ever again. I don't care about their opinions. And the thing is, like, if I have an hour of my time, like, do I want to go on Twitter and argue with randos for an hour? Or do I want to go play Resident Evil 4 Remake? Right? Like, dude, I'm a gamer. Like, I don't, like, it's, to me now, it's like optimizing my time. I don't want to, that's why, like, even now, dude, like, I'll tweet, a few things every day, and I might go in and, like,
but
I'll comment.
You're actually gaming. That's the thing. These guys don't game. They just scroll Twitter for that little...
Most of them, yeah.
For that little attention. And when they don't get that attention, they result to extremes.
Yeah. It's just like an energy sap, man. Like, whatever.
Yep. Especially when it's low news.
It never makes you feel good. It just drains your energy. And it's like, you multiply... Because you do that 2 or 3 times a week. And, look, I spent 3 hours this week arguing with weird random people on Twitter that I don't like. Right? Versus I could have beat an indie game. I could have beat 4 more chapters of Resident Evil Remake. Like, yeah,
it's wild. It's just wild to me. The whole thing's wild, and it's just funny. But it's only going to get even more amplified with this news as it goes forward. But I guess I'll bring it back to the gaming. That's what we do here. Silent Hills, almost done production, if I remember correctly.
Silent Hill 2, I think you mean, right?
Silent Hill 2, yeah, almost done.
Don't give me hope about Silent Hills, man. Don't bring back that hope. It's dead.
Hey, at least you got the movie. You got the movie to go off of.
Just mess up the movie.
You got your movie. Counter-Strike 2 was announced by Valve. Everybody hyped?
Hype. Really hype.
See, there you go. Look at Skynet in the comments.
What's up?
My buddy.
That's why I don't mess with Twitter. It takes away from me.
Oh, he's in the chat. What's up, Skynet?
See, Skynet's the kind of person that I don't know if we interact on Twitter, but he or she is the type of person that I think I would interact with. But I'd want to gamers, man.
Yeah.
People that actually want to game.
You said Silent Hill movie. Yeah, did they announce sequels at the last showcase?
Something like that. They did announce like a movie or something.
Yeah, because we're doing like it was like 3 things for Silent Hill: Silent Hill 2, the game, the movie, and then there was something else like a live action FMV thing they were going.
Oh
for.
Yeah, I actually should go back. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah,
Silent Hill F or something.
Yep, that's it. So you are getting that. The movie I'll pass on. I didn't really care for the first movie, so I don't think I would care for the second.
Listen, when it comes down to that game, I got lots of questions because
PSVR 2
is just not good.
PSVR 2.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking VR 2. I'm just talking.
Oh, you're just talking about the quality. You're talking about overall quality and what it's going to look like.
Absolutely.
Wow.
The craziest part about the Silent Hill 2 remake news that I read this week is that like I think probably most people view Bloober Team as kind of mid. Like I don't think anybody views them as like top tier. I like a bunch of their games, but I think generally if I play a Bloober game, I figure it's probably like a 7 out of 10 type. Like that's about the upper threshold. But they said that they actually name dropped Naughty Dog and was like, we want to be the Naughty Dog of horror. And they also said that they commissioned like some industry research, and the types of games that they were making before, which was like mostly like first person horror games, have a sales threshold of about 2 million. But if they transition to survival horror genre, the upper limit for those is around like 10 million, right? Yep. That's like the Silent Hills and the Resident Evil games of the world, which sell a lot more than horror games generally, right? But they and the CEO was like, we realistically think that within 5-10 years, I think we can. I think a decade they gave themselves, but within a decade they could probably get up to that threshold. Mm-hmm. I don't. To me, these kinds of things are just like, why would you say this? Like, first of all, Naughty Dog is perhaps the best in the industry.
They need a lot of progress to like get.
The gap between
from the medium to a Naughty Dog level game.
That's a big stretch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it's kind of like one of those things where it's just like, it's good to be ambitious, and I understand why they'd want to think that. But it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, that's your inside voice coming out.
Who did The Evil Within? What studio was that?
That is Tango.
That's Tango.
Would you guys been more happy if Tango was doing this remake?
Yes, absolutely.
Would Tango be one that y'all want? Tango's
good
at making creepy stuff.
Tango's way better than Bluebird.
Yeah, exactly. If you told me which one was a better studio, Tango or Bluebird, I would choose Tango any day.
You know why I brought that up though.
League.
I brought that up for the grotesqueness of what they did with the other one, the game they did. Yeah. So I do think they I forget the name, but I'd even much rather have the Callisto Protocol. I'd much rather have that studio take on. I don't know about that. They disappoint.
They're both pretty I don't know. I don't know how to do it's hard because they only made one game, Callisto Protocol. Looper has made multiple. So Hunter has some credence with what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying,
they only had one game, to be fair.
The only thing bad about the Callisto Protocol is the gameplay.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything else I thought was amazing. Like graphically, it was just like mind-blowing.
Oh yeah, it was definitely top tier.
The story, what was interesting, I thought for sure, and environments, everything was interesting. It's just the gameplay sucked.
Yeah. Then that fake out at the end, it was like, they really went the Dead Space route. So,
but I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm kind of I'm so curious about Silent Hill too. I'm just so curious about. because why Bloober Team? Like I don't. There's so many other more talented studios out there, right?
They probably pitched an idea that they just they probably thought was great on paper, and that's how they got it instantly. So that's my take. They probably pitched like the perfect idea for like the remake / maybe it ties in with the movie. You guys think?
No,
what they're gonna do? Because
no.
yeah, probably like story wise it won't tie in, but like marketing wise,
marketing wise, like story, yeah, for sure.
Marketing wise, they'll probably tie it in. This, I mean, I guess the good thing is that if they nail this Silent Hill 2 remake, then they, at least in my mind, they could potentially catapult up to being a top tier. Like if it's like legit good, like if it's like Resident Evil 2 remake quality, right?
That's a high bar, man. That is a super high bar.
I don't think it's gonna be that. Yeah. I'm just saying, like the way they're talking is they're saying it's gonna like this is like the quality they're going. But the only like part that makes because normally I would think there's no way that they're gonna achieve that. But the one thread that I am hanging on to is this is in partnership with Sony and Konami. Right.
If it doesn't do well, that's another kind of blunder, right? For Sony's like third party timed exclusive, right?
Yeah. I think it will do well just off the name recognition, but it has to be good in terms of
in terms of critical reception. Like you think that too?
No,
no,
I'm talking about sales. The name alone will drive the sales. It's just like in terms of critical reception, that comes down to the team in terms of what they make, and it actually is that that good. That's how it's going to be working. So that's where I'm at with that mindset. I think the last bit of news I got for you guys, we've got to see another look at Hellblade. Hellblade 2. Well, granted, we didn't see a look at it. It was a CGI.
Bro, we talking like a tech demo, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, we got to see that they were showing us off. I mean, it's weird that we saw it. I thought it looked good, the tech demo, after what we saw. I mean, granted, that's what all tech demos are supposed to do. They're supposed to look good.
No, they're supposed to look way better than what the actual.
It looked good. I gave them a pass because we already saw gameplay of it in the last showing of this game, but it is a little weird. Come on, we did see gameplay.
Bro, did we see swordplay? Did we see swordplay?
No swordsplay, but we saw them I guess the
just
fire
running. It's literally
animations.
running on rails, bro. Like listen, I liked seeing that.
That was a boss
but
fight,
I wanted to see actual gameplay, seeing the sword movement, and if it's not as repetitious as the original game, they haven't showed us really a look of that game in terms of actual improvement besides the visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing too to take into account for Hellblade as well, because you guys mentioned the gameplay. This is worth noting since we are looking at another CGI showcase for it. Is this game even coming out on time?
What do you mean by time?
On this year, wasn't it rumored for this year?
This game it's just 2 years ago?
It's just rumors. It's just rumors.
Oh, so it's rumors. It's never confirmed for this year.
No, if you search it, it was never slated for this year.
Didn't they announce this in? I think it was 2019, right?
2019.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was 2019.
Actually, it was showcased with the console. If I remember correctly, too, right? It was the big reveal, her doing the little chanting. She was doing the chants.
The console came out what was it, a week or two or something after that?
Yep.
I think it was Game Award.
Yeah, we saw the reveal of both at the Game Awards show. That was the big thing they showcased for the console.
Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't see it last year either.
Yeah.
The thing is I guess nothing's changed with my opinion. I'm still super excited. I thought the first game was good. I think
I did too.
I think graphically this game looks good, and I'm really stoked for it. But
I'm happy they got the budget.
I guess it's almost the same with everything Microsoft marketing. It's just kind of weird. I think the only really good marketing that I've seen them do in the last 5 years or 10 years is number one, I think their E3 showcases are pretty good. That's a given. But the developer direct that they had in January, I thought was great. I thought the format was awesome for that. But in terms of how they've marketed all these other games, it's just really bizarre and really weird. Like I think the one of the first things we saw with Hellblade was like, you know, the I think maybe the first trailer was the facial animations and how great they were.
Yep.
This GDC demo is the same. Like I don't like. It's so weird. I don't know how to get.
It's more refined now for sure. But that's pretty much it. Like it's virtually the same as what we got before in terms of how well they capture.
Yeah, but I'm like right with it. I would go like I already seen, like, her name's what, Senua, right?
Senua, yeah.
Senua. I've already seen what she looks like in this new game. Like, it's like in both trailers that you showed us, and the first one had, like, you know, close-ups of her face. I don't like. I'm pretty sure that this new footage that we saw was like primarily for GDC, and so I don't think it's like. I don't think it's like necessarily like a trailer. They were
just showing off the visual aspect, like her
engine off,
just showing So I like whatever. Like I don't care. Like I'm not any more excited than what I was. I didn't see anything new that was really interesting, except for, like, you know, looked a little bit better than last time. Didn't do anything to me. I'm excited for the game.
Yeah, I hear that.
They need. I want to see a proper trailer that shows like 3 minute of gameplay.
No, I agree. I'm with you all. That would be awesome. On the gameplay. The gameplay in the first one was very bare bones, very simple gameplay. Granted, if you were to keep that same thing in mind, and you guys go back to like the big, I guess the ogre or the giant thing she was fighting when she was throwing the fire spears at him, it was on rails, like you did say. It was kind of on rails, but it wasn't really much to it. She's just throwing the same, you know, spear, whatever.
That's the thing was, we kind of like let it like slide, like, because it was priced at it was new, but it wasn't priced at $60, if I remember correctly.
Oh well, yeah.
Was it 30
really?
or 40?
It was like
Hellblade.
Hellblade was like $30.
Oh, the original.
original.
The original Hellblade.
Yeah, it was like
the original
30,
Hellblade was like $30-40. Yeah.
So that's why it was like we kind of let it slide in terms of like the combat repetition and all.
I mean,
that.
honestly,
yeah.
Complex
for sure.
So
for sure.
If they're charging $70, it's like, of course.
Oh yeah, we do want more out of that combat.
The first game was like all about like environmental immersion.
Yep.
And in audio.
Yeah, audio. Yeah.
Like the audio was like out of this world. It was like you know, highly innovative for its time.
Just
but
like
gameplay was all right. Puzzles were like they were all right, but overall it was a good game for sure.
Love the soundtrack of the game as well in the original, and even though, you know what's funny about that game, I love how, like, even though it was done on a budget, clearly it didn't take itself too serious. Like, they were actually showing people wearing like shirts that said, you know, like Bloodborne, like that. They just wearing headpieces, like the little developers showcase, like they didn't have the budget to give you proper like demons, I guess you can say, for the actual game. Again, it was just cool. Like, it was a cool approach towards the game. Now that they got the full budget, I am curious to see what they do in terms of that creativity and the actual combat. But I am with you on that, Red Hood. That combat, I do expect a drastic overhaul and improvement, because all you did, for what I remembered in Senua's Sacrifice, was parry and dodge, right? Yeah. Like, it was like parry, dodge, nothing else. There wasn't no dismemberment or nothing like that. It was just parry, dodge, slash. And that was pretty much how it went. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But it was cool to see it nonetheless, running on Unreal. They showed a lot of things running on Unreal. Was you guys hyped for the GDC? Did you guys feel like it was worth the
I thought like some of it was, well, not Hellblade specifically, but like seeing the tech for Fortnite creative mode and seeing like the Call of Duty map on there. So I was like, geez, this is actually even more, like, honestly, Fortnite's goal is really like interesting, because they want
to break all barriers. Yeah,
they're having creators, like any creator, could be you guys watching, create a map, and people that will populate that map, you'll get a like chunk of revenue or whatever, which is crazy, because it's like Dreams tried to do that, but not really, and Fortnite's doing it with their creative mode thing, which will get more people to kind of just stay on the game, or even get new people on the game, which it's very cool concept that they're doing, which makes it even harder for people that are Fortnite to go on a new multiplayer game. And I mentioned that time and time, like throughout this episode. So it makes it even harder for these new multiplayer games to kind of break out when you're already like getting like these games, or as well as like the developers are really enticing you to stay on their game, which their game is now. I feel Fortnite really is, and honestly, a platform at this point.
It's like Roblox. Like it.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, that's Roblox. I don't play it, but I've read a lot about it. It seems like it's a platform where people can create their own levels. You can monetize like in-item or in-game items in that. But yeah, it creates that stickiness of just like constantly fresh new content, and yeah, that was pretty huge for them.
Shout out to Slow Mo Backslap. What's up, brother? Good to see you. One half of DPS podcast. Hey man, Slow Mo, you better tell Forte to celebrate, man. He still got a job at GameStop, man. They doing well, man. They reported that crazy revenue. Shout out to Forte, man. Shout out to Forte. Good to see you, brother. But yeah, no, I agree with y'all. What else was that happened? I don't really care for this game right here. It's called Crash Team Rumble. I was hoping that this was gonna be Crash Bash. I don't care for this game.
No.
I really don't care for this game. Did you care for it, Connor? I didn't care for this game. I don't.
I think it's. I mean, it's just like.
It's a party game. It's a party.
It's just like, well, it's like all these games where like I'll probably end up playing it for a week or two. Like I think just back to what Red was saying. Like this to me just like screams the type of game that is going to come out of the gate. Probably a lot of people are going to like it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and they'll get hundreds of thousands of people playing the game, and then you check back a month and a half later, and 90% are not playing. Like it just screams that to me. Unfortunately, like I like Crash, and I hope this game has a lot of success. But
I don't see it.
There's too many other amazing online games, and trying to pull people away from that is like way too hard. And I almost feel like for some of these games, like I feel like the type of people who are going to end up playing it are probably maybe people like me that like I very rarely get hooked on online games. Like I'll play them like I play a single player game. Like some of these games I'll play for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then
move on to the next.
Yeah, like I'm satisfied, right? Like I played 20 hours of this game, and I'm satisfied, and I'm playing the next game now, right? So yeah, unfortunately I just don't see the hook. But
they should just stay with Crash Team Racing. I think that would have been fine if they want that multiplayer aspect. Just stick with Team Racing, because I think Team Racing did pretty well sales-wise. I think, because the Insane Trilogy was a hit, but granted they only did up to 3 for that one. They didn't do the rest of them, but still.
Like I feel like it's the same way with that. I think what is it? Lego 2K Drive.
Yep.
Is it called?
Oh yeah, they announced. Right.
Like that's my feelings the same for that too. It's like, I'll it looks good. I certainly can't wait to play it. I'll probably play it for 3 weeks or a couple of weeks, have some fun, go online. 6 months after it launches, is it still going to have a player base? Like, no, I don't. I would doubt it. Like, I hope, I hope all games succeeds, but there's so. Look at even you guys probably may not even like care about this game or know much about it, but like I think it's Roque.
Roque.
I think it's Roque City. It's supposed to be like Payday.
Is it really?
It's coming to PC this month, and it's I think it's coming to consoles maybe in June. Yeah, I'm for sure you guys would have seen the trailer. Like when the trailer released months ago. It got a lot of buzz. But again, like it just like I heard, like I've seen a few trailers and I saw some previews and people say it's kind of like Payday, but I haven't played the game, but it's kind of like, why would I not just play Payday?
Yeah, Payday too.
Payday is actually really good. Like Payday is one of those like online multiplayer games that actually stuck with me for a little while. Like I played it for like maybe 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I played that with a friend. We literally grinded for hours till we got the platinum for it. It was too much, but that game was really, 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 really good. I didn't do the DLC, but I'm glad we're getting a new one. I think they confirmed that we're getting a new one. They're working on that, so that's gonna be cool.
A new Payday, yeah.
Yeah.
They're working on. I think is it 3? Payday 3.
Payday 3. So hopefully they improve a lot on what needs to be. Really, the main thing Payday needs to be fixed is the AI. I think AI was really wonky.
Yeah.
Too. If they fix the AI, that could be like the perfect like get away from everything typing, because it has like one of the coolest concept. You're literally bank robbers. Like it kind of gives you that.
For sure. Like it's amazing having someone like trying to crack the bank, like the vault or whatever.
Yep.
Trying
somebody
to
hack the safe and you to be the
lookout. The blowtorch or whatever, getting the vault open while you gotta secure the doors and. Yeah,
you know what it reminds me of though? It was basically Point Break. Remember Point Break, that movie with Keanu? I think that's the name of it. It's basically what it is. It's basically that in real time, but more, exaggerated, and it's really, really good. Love that game for what it was, and I still do. I want to touch upon this because we didn't really touch upon it last time, and I kind of forgot about it. It was the whole thing surrounding the NFTs and blockchain technology Sony was thinking about doing with
NFTs.
With the PlayStation Stars program. Yeah, I remember
you mean that Sony had there was a patent
for it? Yeah.
Oh, I mean.
Do I think that's gonna be quick? Do y'all think that's gonna end up being a thing? Because like these whole. I don't know how many points. Like I'm level 4 on PlayStation Stars, but I don't really keep track of it. I thought it was gonna be better or cooler, but I don't really care about the Stars thing. Did you guys care about it? Like, are you guys checking?
I like in-game stuff. Like when I played, the Astrobot game that comes packed with your PlayStation. Like, I had fun unlocking the PlayStation consoles and controllers and all that fun stuff in that game, but. No, I registered for PlayStation Stars, and I every now and again I see that I completed a challenge that sometimes I don't even know. Like I'll just play a game and they'll be like, "Oh, you completed a challenge." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not interested. I mean, I haven't like cashed in any points to try to get the collectibles.
Yeah.
I don't. Partly because I just haven't like put enough energy into like figuring it all out. Like.
Whoops.
Where do you display your things that you unlock? I don't know.
It's like, okay, so you go to PlayStation Stars, like the app or whatever, or on the PlayStation app, and then like you can basically set it there. So you just put it in like
you just look through like your collection of like things that you've unlocked.
So it naturally should be like there for you. Like if you have a lot, like you'll just get a few things and then like you put it in your little showcase. You customize the showcase. But here's the thing. Here's where it's
too much work.
It becomes pointless because it doesn't do anything. Like it's not on your main profile.
Well, I was just gonna say that. Like in order for me to care. It should be on my dashboard when I log in to my like if there was an icon beside the PlayStation Store that said, your personal PlayStation trophy room, right? And I click on that, and it's a PlayStation Home type 3D world that I can build and customize and like get like maybe if it was like in my face like that. Maybe I would do that, but what you're saying, like log into an app and like check, no, that's just. If I think about PlayStation, I want to play a video game. I don't want to go into an app and play with like virtual gadgets or whatever.
Yeah, so That's pretty much it. I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, I think we talked about the games for Plus or whatever, the Legacy thing they did. I think they were hyping up.
There just was one other thing that I saw, like, I guess controversy, and it was like the whole clip going around that, like, about 16, right, where it went through like a little like crevice or whatever, like he went like ducked down for like 3 seconds.
Oh god, yeah.
And it was just like, it's like the whole load time situation, masking load times, and like there you could still see, like, you know, like how God of War you can't see anything or whatever, or like Callisto or a couple of the other games, but like there you can like actually see the environment still on the other side. So it was like, to me, I just didn't understand that. I definitely felt like it was a particular thing to just go in like to a secret area or a secret like dungeon or something like that for 16, but I think it was just blown out of proportion. So I don't know, because they were just showing like Torgal, like showing like, oh, there's something here, check it out, so it could be like a hidden area.
Well, so I think the like, you know, the thing that I wish people would like understand and appreciate is like, I think it's pretty like, should be pretty well known at this point that these like squeeze through cracks or whatever, like those moments, like there's been a lot of developers, like Sony developers too, right, that have come forward that have been saying, because people always just say, oh, it's like, you know, it's a relic from like the PS3 era, it's just the mask loading screens and all that, and like a lot of developers have come forward and said, no, like there's like loading sometimes can be part of it, but there's like, first of all, like not every time you go through a crack is it a loading thing. There's so many other reasons for it, right? One like I remember like one of the reasons was that when you go through a crack, they can sort of like direct the camera. So there might be like, maybe when you get out of the crack, like to your right is like something awesome and cool, but like when you go through the crack, you can't see it. That way, when you get out, they can like, you know, the camera can direct your eyesight to that. So it's kind of like it's that, but also too, like, you know, they in some cases, they like the developers want to push you forward into the adventure. Like they specifically, it's not for loading, but they want you to like not backtrack and like see other things that you've already seen behind you. They want to push you forward, and so they do this too, right? So again, like part of it could be loading, which certainly is the case, and I'm sure in a bunch of times, but there's a bunch of other reasons too. So the fact that everyone was like, oh, like you know, it's a PS5 game, we got the SSD, why are we still doing loading? Like, you don't.
But the thing was, it's like when you looked at the clip and when he went, like you couldn't see the forest like area, like to see it, all that. So totally. It was really weird because it wasn't like a crevice where like you're going like this way and you couldn't see what's in front of you. Then that I would guess would be masking loading, but the clear.
Well, I love for the developers to weigh in on that.
There's supposed to be a PAX East thing too, like tomorrow, for Final Fantasy 16. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
All I was saying is like there's a PAX East thing tomorrow for Final Fantasy 16, and he also was on a panel for Final Fantasy 14 today at PAX East.
Okay. So hopefully I mean, I think it's just like a waste of a developer's time to ask him why, but I know,
dude, Yoshi will honestly answer any question. So like, if he sees like a big stint happening on the internet, he's probably gonna address it.
So it could literally just be you know, maybe he, like, for that particular area, he doesn't want you to backtrack. Like, it could be that too. Like you'll I'm sure you guys
in that particular like video, it was just showcasing Torgal's thing of like saying, oh, there's something here, and then it's like, okay, let's go through that area. So it's like a secret. It could be a secret dungeon, secret area like that. Like Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Final Fantasy in general has had secret areas and all that.
Like I'm sure you guys have probably already seen it in Resident Evil remake, but you've certainly seen it in the original. Like, you know, another tactic that games will do is they'll make you drop down, like from a high enough distance that you can't climb back up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like to me, it's like it's a similar concept, right? Like they're like, they don't want you to backtrack, they want you to push forward. Maybe like you can tell sometimes when you like, this actually happens a lot in From Software games. Like you drop down, and that when you hit the ground, that's when it triggers the boss fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's like Wolong does that too. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like there's like a whole number of reasons why, and people.
You beat Wolong, right?
I beat Wolong. Yeah, game's great.
How many bosses were in that game in total, do you think?
30.
30 bosses?
30, yeah, 31, 32, I think.
Oof. No, okay. I was curious how many bosses.
Somewhere. A lot of the bosses are optional.
Oh, okay.
There's probably like half are main, like main quest, main campaign, and then the other half are like you'll find actually some of the cooler boss battles are
kind of like Elden Ring.
Are the optional bosses.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought it was great. I kind of like the one thing that I've been thinking about a lot is I actually when I played Neo and I played Neo 2, I really a lot of people hated it, but I actually really liked the mission structure of that. I thought it was I know like the open world part, or the connected world is cool, and I like, of course I love that too, but I kind of like the it was kind of like almost like episodic. Like I could go into Neo 1 and 2, and if I had an hour and a half, I could play 2 missions, right? And then just finish the missions and move on, right? And feel like I had like a natural cutoff point. But when I was playing Wolong, I was thinking I'm kind of getting like a little tired of that, actually. I think Elden Ring spoiled me, right? The big, vast open world, like it's just so wondrous and interesting, and so that's like the one thing that I think I would change. I hope for what is it, Rise of the Ronin or whatever, the next big game that Team Ninja's going to make. I hope they don't have missions. I hope it's like a semi-open world. That would be great. But aside from that, I thought the game was pretty good.
Okay.
Like certainly everyone who likes Souls games should play it for sure. It's got I think it's got probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, parrying system. Like I find it like actually like pretty easy to parry. Sometimes you only got like a short window, but I just noticed that like in other games, like I hit the parry button and like I think it should have worked when I hit it, but it like I guess I got my timing wrong. Wolong was a game where it's like almost every time I wanted to parry, I got the parrying down.
So it's more fluid than Sekiro. Oh, yeah, Sekiro.
Yeah, like I don't. If you played it, no.
I have it on. I have it on the Xbox. I just didn't fire it up, or my PC through Xbox.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it like the like the positive and negative energy that you get. I think that system is cool too.
Okay.
Right, where it's like it's kind of like this weird system where you've actually got when you parry, and I guess your negative energy is kind of like your stamina, right? Basically, like your positive and negative energy is like your stamina, but it's like when you parry, it adds to your negative stamina, but you also gain positive stamina, and every battle you're like you're managing these two different like energy bars, right? You can't if your negative energy gets like totally full, then you get exhausted and you have to like your character stops for a second to catch their breath. And then your positive energy lets you do extra damage when you attack. It takes away from that meter and adds energy to your strikes. So yeah, I thought it was really 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 cool, really really interesting.
Okay, all right, that's what's up. Let me get to these real quick and we'll shut it down. Shout out to iLobo, the homie member for 6 months, platinum tier. He says Valve can make Counter-Strike 2 game and people get hyped for it, but Sony doesn't want to work on a new SOCOM game. I mean, yeah, that's kind of how the energy felt. We're not.
You don't
want to do it.
We're not comparing Counter-Strike to SOCOM, bro. That's wild, because that is like the #1 like shooter on the PC platform. That's
though. It's over.
Insane to compare SOCOM in terms of level of popularity, and even its highest level of popularity will never compare to Counter-Strike 2. That will be doing the most wildest comparisons of all time. Like one time, like, man, I'm gonna say one time he's like, man, I cannot believe, like, he's like, I got a pit in my stomach that I feel like Call of Duty's gonna fall off in 10 years. I'm like, Lobo, just stop it. Even like Delta had to call him out, and like all these people. I was just like, bro, you gotta stop, bro. Yeah. In 10 years, Call of Duty's not gonna fall off. Like that. Like there is no data to suggest that Call of Duty is going to decline that bad. So it's like him bringing up the comparison of Counter-Strike 2 going into freaking SOCOM is wild. Like that to me is crazy, bananas.
I know listeners gonna be all over it. Alex, I don't know if you're gonna play it.
Even when Call of Duty has a bad year,
it's the #1 selling game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even when it has a bad year, it's still not the #1 selling game. But then the next year they just released another one and it breaks sales records, right? Mm-hmm. Like even like an off year doesn't do anything. People are like just as hype or more hyped the next year. So yeah, it's like a slam dunk.
Yeah, and like,
basically it's a slam dunk.
To mention, it's like, dude, Counter-Strike has like over 1 million players. Like I can see
concurrently. I could definitely see a scenario where Call of Duty declines, but it would take like a decade of every iteration of Call of Duty
just being worse and broken and
being a decade of every game being worse. Then I could see it. But the thing is, like, like I just mentioned, sometimes Call of Duty has an off year, but I can't ever see a situation where they have like 10 stinkers in a row. They'll just release a new Modern Warfare too, and like, Modern Warfare 3 will come out and that will break 25 million sales.
There you go, Lobo. And Cassie kind of beat me to it. Cassie said Butch must have hit a number today. To my surprise, Butch has become a channel.
Oh, dude, he probably canceled immediately after he did that.
He did it.
Expect that for a month.
I know he did that for you.
No, it wasn't even for me. He might have, honestly, but he did it at Cage too.
Yeah, no, Cage.
No, don't expect a repeating sub from Butch. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Butch. Seriously, shout out to everybody who came through. Great show, man. Great show. A lot of cool stuff that happened this week. You said, did you see the latest tech intros so far? The new ones are Lars. Yeah, I seen them. They both look great. Lars looks like Lars over here doing the lightning blaze from Naruto. It looks like, which was pretty cool for a special. And then you got Jack 8 looking really, really cool. Got a proton cannon. So that was really awesome. But yeah, appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming through. Had a blast, and let's get into these outros. Hunter, start with you.
Sure, yeah. So, catch me on Twitter. Go to Next Gen Player. Try to tweet like 3 to 10 times a day. Usually trying to pick the biggest news. Most of it, I definitely tweet about like all platforms and like all games that are interesting, I think, but there's certainly a focus on PlayStation. So if you want to catch the latest PlayStation news, just I may not be like a nibble where I'm tweeting like 5 seconds after news hits. He was just like amazingly good at being online 24/7. I've got things going on in my life, so sometimes I tweet an hour after the news drops. But anyways, I think my feed's like a pretty good summary if you want to just check every day and catch the latest PlayStation updates and news and all that, check out my Twitter at NextGenPlayer. And that's it, man. That's me.
Yep. There you go. Make sure you guys check out Hunter, man. He's getting close, man. Getting closer every single week to 100K. He's going to hit that by the end of this year easily. Especially when the showcase happens, Hunter. I can see that being it. The real time where it really blows up.
Man, Hunter's gonna have to like take off that day too for work and just tweet the whole time.
Well, yeah, that's the hard part about being a PlayStation centric Twitter account is that Sony is just like dry when it comes to news.
And then when the showcase happens, it's gonna be too much.
They just never,
it's nonstop. The award shows, all that stuff is just nonstop.
Oh yeah, for sure. If they announce a showcase, I'll probably get 5K followers like that week because I'll actually have things to talk about.
Speaking of awards, didn't Shuhei win an award if I remember correctly this week?
That.
I forgot what.
I think it's BAFTAs, right?
It was,
Something with BAFTA?
Yeah, it was like Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah,
I guess it was like the highest honor. That's what they said.
He deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Dude's always been cool as hell, man. Congrats.
Oh yeah, he's like an OG man back in like the original PlayStation days.
Mm-hmm.
He's up there with Hideo Kojima, just a rock star. Like when it comes to just gaming,
Yeah.
he always backs for indies too. Because I remember correctly, Stray won best debut game at the Game Developers Awards too. So
oh yeah,
shout out to Shuhei Yoshida.
She's having like the time of his life, man.
How do you think we have with Shu?
The whole guy, like his entire job seems like he just tours the world playing indie games.
Yeah.
He goes to like almost every conference. You see like every like
had the same smile on his face, just happy.
Hacks, like
just real
TGS, like every E3. He's just at every event.
Mm-hmm.
Like of course I'm simplifying. He does a lot of business deals and stuff like that. But like he seems like he has a really good life, man. Like
oh yeah. Do you I don't know how long I think Shuhei is gonna be with PlayStation. That you guys think? Because that's a good question.
I don't know. How old is he? I don't know. Like
Yoshida?
5 years? Like.
Because I mean, we lost Andrew House relatively. Well, Andrew House has been there for years too. That's the thing. They all been there for so long. Shuhei Yoshida.
Yeah, but Shuhei, like. I'm like the other folks, like. Yeah, okay, so maybe like another 5 years we got with him. He'll probably retire like mid-60s, I think.
I can see
he could retire right now. I'm sure he's been banking for decades
Perfectly fine.
At PlayStation, but you can just generally tell he just loves gaming and loves the industry, and I don't think that he could probably do things like open up like a YouTube channel or like a podcast or write a book or whatever, but I don't think so. I think he's so interested. Like maybe this gen, you know what I mean? Like maybe he rides out the PS5 gen for the next like 4 years or whatever, and
just like Kaz Hirai. Like Kaz Hirai was all gaming, you could tell. Like honestly, I kind of wish Jim Ryan had the personality of Kaz Hirai, if I really be honest with you guys. Kaz Hirai was all about business, but the dude also was about, like, you could tell he's just a genuine gamer at heart, and he literally cared about it. Like he just, it was just showing just the way he conducted himself. But
I kind of hope that Sony gives him like the Miyamoto treatment, which like.
Hirai?
I guess the way I can describe it to you is give him like after he retires, give him a WWE Legends contract.
Oh, so he can come back. I mean, dude, I would love to have him come by.
Like he's just like he's like a mascot. You know what I mean?
He's part of their history.
He's totally he is the PlayStation mascot, right? Everyone always says, "Oh, is it Kratos? Is it like who is it? Is it Horizon? Like who's the man?" No,
I would love to see Kutaragi as well. I would love to see Ken Kutaragi.
Shuhei's the PlayStation man.
Yeah.
I would just even if he retires, like I just love to see him at the Game Awards and like at different events. Like he's just you can't help but smile whenever you see Shuhei.
Absolutely. Red Hood, tell the people they can find.
Yeah, guys, you can follow me at RedHood420 on Twitch and RedHood420 on YouTube. I am making a video regarding Square Enix, NFTs, Symbiogenesis. I got busy with birthday week and all that. So trying to have it done by Sunday and then have a video regarding Final Fantasy 16 along with that placed throughout the week. And then also the following week it will be something regarding Spider-Man 2. So check that out. Twitter Reddit 240. Appreciate everybody pulling through. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe.
There you go. And of course, Big Cloud Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, the works. Shout out to everybody who joined. Yeah, you guys can also see me on lordsgaming.net with all my written pieces, which we'll be continuing to do. But shout out to everybody. Appreciate y'all. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Go play that Resident Evil 4. It is fire. I'm about to go hop on that as we end this show. So, again, thank you guys so much for coming through. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend again. And y'all be good, man. We out of here.